Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Poruchasti Sidhwa, and I'm the host and the presenter for today. We begin the program in the name of Aura Mazda, and for that, I will request Erward Mirnosh Bhada to come up and recite a short prayer. Mirnosh.
Tanun paiti, ahunem vairim tanun paiti, ahunem vairim tanun paiti, yatha ahu vairyo athau ratosh, ashachit achau vangeosh, desdau manengosh, shautenanau mangeosh mazdai, shatrem chai ahurai ayim, Dregubyo dadat vastaurem. Friends, we have gathered here today to remember and celebrate the life of our very dear Byram uncle. Prayer was a very vital part of Byram uncle's life. He was a devout family man, and his heartfelt prayers were directed not only towards his country and community, but also towards people from all walks of life. Byram uncle fervently prayed for peace, love, tolerance, and harmony to prevail in every corner of the world, and particularly his place of birth, Pakistan. His faith gave him strength and guided his actions as he lived by the principles of empathy, kindness, and understanding enshrined in the Avari family. Throughout his journey, Byram uncle left an indelible mark on the lives of countless individuals. His benevolence, coupled with his determination to create a more compassionate world, today inspires his family to continue his noble causes. Byram uncle's legacy lives on, reminding us that one person's dedication, commitment, and love can have a profound impact on the lives of many. He will continue to serve as a beacon of hope and an example of how small acts of kindness can lead to greatness. May he rest in everlasting peace and joy with thee. Athao zamyad yathawa frinami. May it be as I so wish. Amen.
Everyone felt welcome and included regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. ByramDAvari's legacy lives on through the memories we hold dear. He will always be remembered as a positive, energetic, empathetic, wise, a friend of friends, and a man for all seasons. And we all can strive to live our lives with the same love, kindness, and compassion that he exemplified. Throughout his life, this family man was a pillar of strength and a model of kindness. He touched the lives of everyone he met, and his memory will live on in the hearts of all those who knew him. He had a big heart and welcomed everyone into his life with open arms. He had a kind word for everyone he met, and his smile could light up the room. He embraced playfulness and created a positive, joyful atmosphere. He was a mentor, a friend, and a role model to so many people. A true family man, and his devotion to his loved ones was evident in everything he did. May his memory continue to inspire us and guide us in the years to come.
Dear family and friends, On behalf of the Chairman and Trustees of the Karachi Parsi Anjuman Trust Fund, we welcome you this evening to celebrate the life of our ex-chairman, the late Mr. Byram D Avari, a beloved member of our community who touched the lives of many. While we feel sadness on his passing over, today we choose to remember the joy he brought into our lives. We are grateful to our Mazda for the time we had with him and for the memories that we will cherish forever. We have come together on his Chamsi to honor his memory, share stories of his life, and regale instead of finding solace in each other's company. Byram Uncle's personality and his zest for life was such that he would have wanted us to come together and celebrate the man he was rather than mourn his loss. The format of this evening will include personal messages from his family, friends from Karachi and abroad, and various Zoroastrian trusts, intercepted with glimpses of Byram Uncle's life in photos, with his favorite pieces of music depicting the real person behind the glitz and glamour of his professional persona. Let us begin by inviting his son, Dinsha Byram Avari, to come up and reminisce his thoughts with us. Dinsha.
Dear friends, thank you very much for coming and honoring Daddy's memory and for the respect you've given him. There were a lot of, I would also, before I do that, I would also like to sincerely thank the main architect of tonight, Porochisi Sidhwa, who has put the entire program together. And we, as a family, we are extremely grateful. With Porochisi, I'd like to thank the Keys production team who have given us this facility and the live streaming, without whom it would not have been possible. So I appreciate Keys production also. Now, Daddy had a lot of characteristics. He had a lot of different things which defined his personality. I can't get into all of them, so I said I'll give you an example of only four such characteristics. First and foremost, he was a family man. He put everything aside when it came to his family, regardless of a business crisis or a personal crisis, medical, his family came first. And that is one of the education or, life's points that our family, our Xerxes, Zina, our spouses have also learned. He was humane. He was generous to a fault and always lending a hand to anyone within the community and outside. And it is only, like someone said earlier, it is only after his death that we are getting to hear of stories about what he did for people, and he didn't have any connection with them. I know that there's no way that many of us in the family can compete, because something like that doesn't happen overnight. It happens from when you are small. This was his characteristic. The third thing, and Mummy, don't mind, I say this with love and respect, but Daddy had balls. He was gutsy. Okay, he was very, very gutsy. And for an example, and I know that I'm nowhere in that league. And the thing is that, for example, one incident stands out. It was in 1978 Asian Games, the first Asian Games where he won the sailing, and he bet the little hair on his head against the beard of his Sikh competitor, the Indian Sikh competitor, And much to, unfortunately, Commander Mongia, Surinder Mongia, who came second in the Asian Games, he never shaved his beard. But nature did that for Daddy's head. So, unfortunately. Lastly, he was extremely strong with his figures, extremely strong with accounting. And my family, we learned this the hard way when we tried raiding his chocolate corner in his room. The chocolate corner has always been called the corner of sin. And we tried taking from there, and it never worked. He knew exactly what had been taken. So the takeaway, the moral of that story that stays in our head is that never come in between a man and his sweet tooth. So that stays in our head. Friends, I just want to say thank you once again. I want to thank the Anjuman trustees sincerely. On my mother and our family's request, they have very kindly agreed to us maintaining and creating and maintaining some lawns and gardens on the south side of the Dungarwadi, which is right now plain and barren. And we will call it Byram Avari Bagh. It is for all Zartostis from all over Karachi or anywhere. There will be no this thing on the resources of the community. No residents will face any we will not take like the water or the electricity. Everything will be self-sustaining. And that's one of the things that our family wanted to do, to remind us of him forever. Thank you very much.
We honor the memory of a beloved husband. As a husband, Byram Avari was besotted and devoted to his wife for 57 years, Goshpi, always putting her needs and happiness first. He was a true partner in every sense of the word, sharing the joys and sorrows of life with her. They were truly a team, and their love was a shining example for all of us. An affectionate husband who made Goshpi feel valued and cherished. Always respectful, empathetic, kept his promises, was unflinchingly loyal, supportive, attentive, encouraging, always stood by her side during both triumphs and challenges. He was an active listener who shared his thoughts and feelings and sought Goshpi's perspective. Theirs was a partnership with shared responsibilities and decision-making, one that actively participated in parenting, recognizing that both partners contributed to the relationship and the family's well-being.
One kiss. One proper kiss. And then. You're all I'll ever need. Amazing.
Can we now have Xerxes Avari to please come up and reminisce his thoughts with the audience?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for the honor you're bestowing on Daddy. We are here to celebrate his life, his achievements, his successes. A businessman, a sportsman, community leader, politician, diplomat, philanthropist, generous. He had a very big heart. He'd help the poor, as Dinsha said. We didn't even know people who came to us and told us about things he did for them out of the blue after he passed away. He touched many lives and many, many people, as we all know. He was tenacious. He had grit, humility. He was perennially optimistic. He had a huge humor quotient. He'd laugh all the time, come up with very funny jokes, and of course forget the punchline. He was stubborn to a core, which is why Mummy and Zina had to bow to him and say, oh Guru, because he wouldn't listen to them at all. He'd say, my way, and that's it. And that was good. He was politically incorrect, much to the ire of parent Farize and Nadine. He was always late, but that's genetic, I think, for some of us. He was an innovator, and he sat still. So how did he get to these? How did he get these characteristics? What was his defining? What defined this? Born in 1941, with a pail and a spade, he used to play in the stands of Beach Luxury while it was being constructed. The American soldiers picked him up one day, took him for a long ride, gave him ice cream, brought him back. And then, as he kept growing up, it seemed ice cream was a passion, as it is with a lot of us. And he'd be riding his bike through the premises of Beach Luxury, come home, and Granny, his mum, used to say, "Gunu kha?" He said, "No, I'm really full." It turned out that every day riding his bike, he'd stop at the bakery and have 3-4 scoops of ice cream. Being late started at a very young age. He had to get into school, but he was always late, so he jumped the gate at the grammar school. Well, he didn't look back then, because he then made sure that he'd make all the flights, but he'd be late for everything else. He was introduced to sailing by Shapu Shroff, who told him that, come and try sailing. So he said, "Tesu hai, the wind hits the boat and it goes forward." So Shapu uncle said, "Come, try it out." And he never looked back. As he grew up, he was in university, and he'd always play pranks with his friends. So they used to open the door of a friend. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They used to get into the car of a friend by, I don't know how they actually jimmied the lock. They'd go out for a ride, come back, and then follow the same tire tracks and park that car. And every day that friend used to come back from class, "I can't understand, my petrol keeps going down more and more," until he caught them one day having taken his car away. Growing up in business, he was innovative, so he decided to get these shows from abroad and all over the place. And one of them was a cabaret at Beach Luxury, and suddenly this cabaret turned into a nudist act. So he decided, I better vamoose before Papa, his dad, was going to get on his case, and he just disappeared because he said, "I'm going to be in real trouble for the nude scene." A defining moment in his life was a marriage that didn't take place. His father stood by him when he made that decision, and it taught him grit, tenacity, standing by your friends, as all his friends stood by him because he was threatened to be beaten up by dock workers, and they stood by him with clubs and bats and said, "Let those bastards come, we'll deal with them." And then there was the marriage that was. And that was his confidence when he told his friends, "I'm going to marry her." They said, "Have you spoken to her?" He said, "No." And he said, when he looked at Mummy and said, "I'm telling you all, I'm going to marry her." And that's what he did. He got her to break her Rupiah Peravnu, and he married her. She is the love of his life partner, his sailing partner, gold medal winner together, and she won that medal before him because she sat in front of the boat, and she passed the line before he did. Going on in life, he had to fight Hilton, which was a real David versus Goliath story, where we had to throw Hilton out from taking over and running our Karachi hotel, and ultimately in 1988 we also threw them out of Lahore. And defining moments in life, he had to face FIA cases, Ehtisab Bureau, NAB, all because of jealousies. But if you're right and you have integrity of thought and purpose like he did, then you've prevailed. And he always prevailed. As I said, he was dynamic and he was always moving. He couldn't stand still. He ventured into Dubai and Canada as the first international Pakistani management company. We did exit those properties ultimately, but that was the innovation for him. He innovated and came up with the concept of the Avari Express concept, where we are expanding in hotels throughout Pakistan in secondary cities, Faisalabad, Multan, Lahore, Islamabad, Gilgit, and Gujranwala, to name a few. But that innovation, that new ideas didn't just end here. He came up with an idea. So when Viagra first came out, he said, in our pharmaceutical factory, let's make Palang Tor. That's what he wanted to call the generic version of Viagra. So we looked into it and we tried to not just trademark Palang Tor, but we also applied for the formulation, but unfortunately that was turned down by the ministry. But Palang Tor was a great idea, especially for a country which likes to expand the population at a very, very rapid rate. He could charm anyone and anything. He was on a flight and he talked to all these air hostesses, and at the end of the flight, they all stood up and wanted to take a photo with him. Mummy was on the side, nowhere in the scene, and all these air hostesses are lined up. We want a photo with him, and they all took a big photo with him. His philosophy of life, and he had some very important philosophies of life which stood him in his stead and in his life, and he taught us all. You give me a slap, and I'll slap you down for the rest of your life, but you do me a favor, and I'll do you a favor for the rest of your life. And that was his philosophy. He was a friend of a friend, stood by friends just like they stood by him. In part of the innovation, he came up with the scheme for the Parsi Clinic. He was the architect, brainchild, and he did all and everything necessary for the Parsi immigration scheme, which Ninshaw is now continuing and working on for the second lot. He had a ferocious sense of humor, as you know. So when there was a condolence resolution, funnily enough, for JRD Tata, I think it was Mayor Auntie with whom he had a bet that he would say, goodbye and Tata. So then when he was on the stage, he said, Tata, Tata. And it was just all part of the good humor which he had made a bet with her that he would do. And he came through with it. He had great wit and could come back very quickly. So when he went to a wedding of a friend, well, not a friend, but someone he knew, so he had to actually attend because they phoned so many times, aap aayenge zarur. So he's standing and, he's turned to the guy and said, ye sala Jumani kaun hai? He said, main hu. He said, acha, aap hai nahi, aapki baat nahi kar, aapke bhai ki baat kar raha tha main. So he had to cover that up, and that was his forte. Of course, he went too soon, but I think that his philosophy of life was that whatever happens in the world happens for the best. Whatever happens in the world happens the way God wants it to happen because it's the best way to happen. He stood by that. That was a very, very strong core philosophy of his life. He stood by it, lived it. And I guess that's what we have to take solace in. He could bridge generations. He was as good a friend with our kids as he was with us. He used to come to my Minu Papa, my grandfather's house, before he was even interested in Mummy, and have drinks with him and call him Minu. And it was a totally different generation, and they'd sit and have drinks together. He had great friendships with his peers. He could just talk to anyone and everybody. It was just his style, and it wasn't that he was making an effort or making a false front. It was just him. He was just that genuine. These are just some of the experiences of his. These are what made him an exceptional individual, a person of multifarious competencies, which you all know. And I thank you again for this, because it is truly not to mourn him, but to celebrate his life as a celebration of life. Thank you very much.
May we now request his daughter, Zina Avari Aga, to please come up. and say a few words.
Thank you one and all for being here today to memorialize and celebrate Daddy's life, a life well lived and a life well loved. Our fathers are our first loves, our heroes, and the invisible thread that ties our souls together can only be sensed by us. And away from the public gaze, we shared a bond hard to explain, weaving a tapestry of love. A hero is someone who gives without thought to himself. Thankfully, I had a father who never hesitated to give all of himself. His loss meant losing my best friend, my confidant, and my guiding star. This loss is irreplaceable. His vibrant personality was the rock we all leant on, and his life, the moral compass I looked up to. We struggle with his loss and the irreplaceable void in our lives every single day. Daddy and Mummy's obvious love for Dinsha, Xerxes, and I was so very apparent, and that immense love gave each of us strength in our daily lives and continues to do so today. There was nothing we couldn't discuss with him, no problem he wouldn't solve for us. He encouraged debate and welcomed our opinions and wanted us to speak our mind. We argued, shouted, screamed, fought, got angry. However, at the end of the day, there was unconditional love, and that's really what matters the most. He was our rock, always accessible to us as a mentor, a friend, a sounding board, and everything and anything else we needed. He was, for his part, full of pride and love for each and every one of his grandchildren's personal accomplishments and personalities. His larger-than-life personality, hilarious humor, and immense love and affection for them apparent every time he interacted with them. While the antics and comments his witty sense of humor brought out in him were usually politically incorrect and often inappropriate, they went down as a unique collection of quotes, quips, and stories, forming a timeless treasure trove of memories. Ultimately, all our personalities have been shaped in Daddy's image, but are unique in their own way too. It reminds me of a quote by Helen Keller that I can so relate to. What we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose, for all that we love deeply becomes a part of us. Daddy also lived a life well spent with you, his extended family, the Parsis of Karachi. As I say these words, I sense his beaming smile from up above at each and every one of you here today, paying tribute to his contribution to community and country and testament to the value he added to it. Daddy would be honored and so proud of the honor bestowed on him today. He was a force to reckon with, stubborn yet kind, gentle yet strong, joyful yet emotional, all as and when the situation demanded. A hallmark of the traits that amazing human beings display, he possessed wit and a unique sense of humor, was passionate and compassionate in equal measure, and had an uncanny ability to read the room and respond as demanded. A born leader, he demanded nothing but the best from his staff, but led by example and earned their lifelong devotion while expanding his business to global horizons, living a life few have had the opportunity to, with tremendous success in every field, professional, political, and personal. Incredibly achieved through hard work and sheer determination, departing content in the knowledge that the fourth generation of the family would be as dedicated to the business as our grandfather was. Have no illusions on the number and scale of obstacles in his life which he overcame and fought with grit and tenacity, exemplifying strength and resilience through his actions to tackle adversity head-on with good grace. Through his actions and pragmatic personality, he exemplified how to fight the good fight, jump over hurdles, and carry on despite adversity. He believed there is no problem you cannot solve and no job you cannot complete. Perseverance and hard work will pave the way. His unflinching, unconditional and unwavering love and support was the most important role he played as family man, as a son to his parents, brother to his sisters, husband to mummy, father to Dinshaw Dinas, Xerxes Dilnas, Byram and I, grandfather to all 8 of his grandchildren, and a true friend to more people than one could count. Daddy mentored all of us in his own unique way and taught us invaluable life lessons. He exemplified what humility meant, bent over backwards to help young and old, those less fortunate and those with all the resources available to them. One of the invaluable lessons he taught us was to be humble and have the courage to admit to one's mistakes. A genuine apology can go a long way, and there's no shame in saying you're sorry. Life has an uncanny habit of hitting you hard. Through the good times, one faces personal obstacles too. I learned one of the most important and significant life lessons through Daddy at a time when I was at my lowest. He said to me, "Zina, I want to tell you something, and I want you to remember this always. I know you know that Mommy and I will be there always for you, to guide you and help and support you. However, we will not live forever. Always know that Dinshaw and Xerxes will be there for you in times of need and times of joy. They will be your constants through your adult years and forevermore. The bond you share with them now will help solidify your closeness as adults when you have your own lives. Reach out to them for support and cherish them now as I know they cherish you." This lesson I will never forget, for he taught us all that your family is your rock, and through them you gain strength. Above anything else, we could witness his loyal, loving, and selfless side through his relationship with Mommy. He loved her with every fiber in his being, cared for her, respected her, and treated her as his ultimate go-to best friend, rock, and confidant. His love for her gave the rest of the family something to look up to and aspire to. It taught us never to settle for less and treat our loved ones with as much love and care as he bestowed on Mummy. There is no mountain he wouldn't scale for her. And to us, that was the epitome of who he was, a devoted husband that created a relationship the rest of us can only aspire to live up to. There were no bounds to love and loyalty for him, a trait that I will always try my best to emulate. Family unity meant the world to him, and he would move heaven and earth to make each and every one of us happy and content. Above all, he was our protector, and those very same traits translated to loyalty as the ultimate virtue. I share his view that loyalty is not tradable. You either show it or you don't. And let me assure you, that is one benchmark set by Daddy that we've all inherited and seek to emulate as a family. As Daddy always said, and Xerxes mentioned this earlier, if you harm one of us, you harm us all. But in the same vein, if you do me one favor, I will have your back for the rest of my life. So let me be clear, those with us will never, ever be abandoned, a legacy of Daddy's that we will continue forever. Our family's efforts for this community's well-being will continue, and each and every one of us will continue to drink from the well of service above self that Daddy dug for us. That is a promise and a challenge in equal measure. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but love leaves a memory no one can steal. Rest in peace, Daddy. May the heavens embrace you with the same unconditional love and passion you bestowed on each and every one of us every single day of our lives. Thank you.
As a father, Byram Avari was an inspiration. He was always there for his children, providing guidance and support whenever it was needed. He took great pride in their accomplishments and was always ready with a kind word or a listening ear. He taught them the value of hard work, integrity, and compassion, and instilled in them a sense of responsibility. Dinshaw, Xerxes, and Zina were blessed by his unconditional love, regardless of their achievements or mistakes, providing a safe and nurturing environment where they felt accepted and valued. He was a steady source of wisdom and guidance, offering advice and helping them make informed decisions. Byram was actively present in his children's lives, spending quality time, engaging in activities and interests. He attended their events and was genuinely interested in their lives. A positive role model for his children to emulate. He prioritized his children's best interests over his own and helped them navigate their emotions. An exceptional dad who equipped his children with essential life skills, fostering independence and self-sufficiency, allowing them to learn from their experiences and grow into capable individuals.
May I now request Byram Uncle's grandson, Dinsha Zarksi Avari, to please come up and say a few words.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Papa really loved the community and held it and all of you very near and dear to himself. Even during the last few days when he was at the hospital, he would constantly be telling us that I really need to get home because there's so much community work to do, and then he would keep listing it. When COVID happened in 2019, he had wanted to throw a gambar or host a gambar in memory of his father. And at the time, I would have never imagined that we would be over here at a gambar that's being hosted in his memory. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say today, and I decided, in line with the theme of celebrating his life, I would tell you a few anecdotes that sum him up and show you a portrait of a man who was passionately in love with life. Since we're at a gambar, let me start with a story about food first. So here comes the story about Jingani Khichdi. A few years ago, Jingani Khichdi was cooked at home. However, instead of the regular portion, the cook had cooked like 3 or 4 times the portion that should have been cooked. When we told Papa, I said, Papa, there's so much extra food, And he said, so what? Nothing will get wasted. Everyone at home will eat it. So I said, but Papa, prawns are expensive. They're going to get wasted. He said, Dinsha, but what can the cook do? It's so delicious. He must want to eat it. And he really meant it. And I start with this anecdote because it sums Papa up so well. He loved life passionately, but wanted to share it with everyone. And he adored food, but only so long as everyone could eat it with him. Daddy mentioned the Parsi scheme for Canada, and I was in the office when he was having a meeting for it. And he was actually using this iPad because it was a Zoom call. He was very charismatic, and they kept saying, Mr. Avari, we can't hear you, we can't hear you. So finally he said, can you hear me now? And they got shocked like this. He said, look guys, I'm very sorry, but y'all are going to get me a beating. And they said, what? So he said, when I come home and my wife asks me, what did you do? I'll have to tell her, I screamed at 3 women today. Many years ago, when I was studying in the States, Papa and Granny both came to visit me. We were walking back to the hotel from dinner, and there was a young man, he must have been 30, 35, and as Papa was entering the hotel door, he kind of brushed past Papa and rudely entered. I was obviously a little irritated because he kind of pushed Papa and glared at him. The man turned around and you could see that he was obviously a little drunk and he was gunning for a fight. And then Papa, in his usual charismatic way, interjected and said, no, sir, you go ahead. It's age before beauty. And the man was just dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say. He kind of just went, and he walked away. Papa could make everyone smile, and he could do often what was considered the impossible. At the Ramada conference in 1992, he went around and told a few people, I'll make a bet with you. You have to remember these are 300 to 400 strangers, that I can make everyone sing the same song today. This is a hotel conference. So people said, what do you mean you're going to make people sing the same song? He said, no, it's a bet. Do you bet or do you not? So they said, yeah, make everyone sing the same song. So after a little while, Papa grabs the mic and says, hey everyone, it's XYZ's birthday. Can everyone sing happy birthday for her? And then, of course, everyone sang. And it came true. At the office, for the last year, I had the privilege and the honor to work with Papa, and that's something that's invaluable, and I'm so lucky for. At the office, sometimes I'd do something stupid, and my dad would get, a little angry at me. And, a few times, my dad would get a little upset, and Papa would call me to his office, and he'd say, listen, did your daddy get upset with you? And I'd be a little sheepish and say, yeah. He said, did he kick your ass? And then he just burst out laughing. He kicked your ass, didn't he? And at the time, I didn't understand it. Obviously, I was a little, shocked. But I know now that it was a character-building exercise, and he was just trying to show us that there's laughter in everything, and you shouldn't take yourself so seriously, and enjoy every moment as it comes. Papa was a good friend, and as Daddy already mentioned, he said, if someone slaps you, you slap them back, but if they do you a favor, then you hold their hand forever. And I think that was evident from his funeral, where people from all walks of life came. There were rich people, poor people, big people, small people, and it's very rare that so many different people from so many different walks of life come together to honor someone who's deeply touched them. So when I look back at his life, I think of this quote by Maya Angelou. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some compassion, some passion, some humility, and some style. And I think, in a nutshell, that really sums him up. And if I can live life, a fraction of my life in that way, I know it'll be a happy one. I had a dream a few days ago where Papa came to meet all of us, and I asked him, how's heaven, Papa? And he said, it's so beautiful, Dinsha Baba, in his characteristic way, just, having the time of his life. And, if heaven is all we think it is, and he enjoyed life this much, I'm sure he must be having a hell of a good time. So thank you all for coming, and thank you, Papa. I love you, I miss you, and I value you.
May I now have Kavas Beramaga to come up and talk about his grandfather.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Maya Angelou once wrote, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. My grandfather was one of those who always made people feel loved and welcomed, no matter what. He was always willing to step up and help people in need. He made everyone feel not just good, but also important and valued. He touched and humanized every single person around him. Our family is reeling from his passing, but looking out here at everyone today, I see so many people that he loved, and I realize that even in death, he is looking out for us. The people that he has always supported are here to support us, and that's a beautiful feeling. So thank you for that. Papa was the greatest of greats, the greatest philanthropist, sportsman, diplomat, businessman, politician, community leader, and grandfather ever to be known. When you really think about it, can you think of any other person that excelled at every single thing he did? He had an innate desire to go above and beyond to help any and everyone. The outpouring of love, support, and respect that we have received and seen is testimony to that. He lit up every room he walked into, bringing a smile to everyone's face as his exuberant, cheering personality instantly relieved tension and brought comfort. He was not just the first number on our family speed dial or yours, but for the whole community and everyone he knew, and that is because of his love and devotion to helping others and leaving no stone unturned in that. He was up for any task and wouldn't accept no. Always positive with a solution at hand. When the world came to him with problems, he never even hesitated, not even for a minute, moving heaven and earth to find any solution for them. The strongest pillar and leader of our family, our community, city, and country, the world was definitely his oyster. Amongst the billions of lessons he taught me is the ability to make people special. He had a way with his words, one that I always admired and aspired to inherit. And with that, he connected with the world, making people laugh all day, every day, and touching and impacting the lives of every single person that he met, whether he knew them or not. From buying out the entire Movenpick store for us during COVID, to surfing and playing basketball with us in Phuket, maybe, 7, 8 years ago, or attempting to surf, I should say, to exploring all the rides at Modesh Fun City in Dubai, to traveling to Boston to attend my graduation. He did it all, and he taught us, no matter what you do not live in regret, because he didn't live in regret either. His larger-than-life personality was your asset and ours, and the love he had for little things in life will live on forever. Amongst the millions of memories that he left for us is the way he forced us to eat good food, a lot of chocolate, and drink scotch. It really didn't matter whether you wanted to eat chocolate or not. You just had to have it if he said so. Papa gave us the life and love that nobody ever would. And from what he's created, we know he will continue to do so. We will forever remember to be the greatest versions of ourselves, to do everything and act on every opportunity we are given so that we never ever live in regret. But most importantly, to serve our people, our community, and our country. Papa, I want to thank you for being the star that you were, the only star like yourself in the entire universe. Thank you for being there when we've always needed you, and thank you for moving planets just to see a smile on our face. We will do our best to fill the largest shoes I've ever seen, even though nothing we could ever do would be enough. May his legacy continue wherever it is, even if it's at the Macallan Distillery. Single malts all around to celebrate the blessing he was to this world. No words can do justice to his service, his life, and his ever so eager, loving, and accessible personality. The void his absence has left remains constant, but it's our mission to continue his legacy and services. We will forever stick together, support each other, be there for each other in times both good and bad, but most importantly, we will always remember to pet Blondie, Buddy, and Barney under the chin and behind the ears because they absolutely love it. If only he knew what I do and what all of us would do, just to see him one more time, to give him a hug, a kiss, and just to be forced to eat one more chocolate even though we really didn't want to. Have that last glass of single malt with him and watch his eyes light up just by seeing us. I would say rest in peace to the king, king of the world and king of everyone. But we all know the kind of person he was. Wherever he is, resting is the last thing he's probably doing. He will continue to light up our skies as he always did. Papa is no longer here nor there, but he is everywhere. Dr. Seuss once said, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile, at least it happened." The special years will not return when we were all together, but the love within our hearts, you'll walk with us forever. Thank you for everything, Papa.
We honor the legacy of love, compassion, and devotion that ByramDAvari leaves behind as a grandfather. He loved nothing more than spending time with his grandchildren, sharing stories, playing games, and watching them grow. He was always quick with a joke or a hug, and his love for them was boundless. A man who loved deeply, laughed often, and adored his grandchildren. They were the light of his life, and he reveled in every moment spent with them. He shared his wisdom and experiences with them, always ready with a story or a piece of advice. He instilled in them a sense of wonder, a love of life, and a deep appreciation for family. He was proud of all his grandchildren and was always their biggest cheerleader, their rock, and their confidant. They knew that they could count on him for anything and that his love for them was unconditional. He was their mentor, confidant, and friend, and they looked up to him with admiration and love. He brought a sense of security and comfort, instilled in them the value of hard work, resilience, compassion, and the significance of never giving up. His legacy lives through his grandchildren, ensuring that his spirit lives on forever. Papa, the house seems quieter and the laughter does not resonate quite the same. Your absence has left a void that no one can fill.
May I now request Dilnaz Zavari to please come up and say a few words.
Hi, everyone. I wasn't expecting to speak, but there were some anecdotes that I thought that you all would enjoy, and I thought I'd share them with you. Like I told Xerxes, that if I could live a fraction of the life that Daddy had lived, it would be an exceptional life. I'm just taking from some of the things, Dinsha spoke about the corner of sin, and I was the biggest jaldi chor who would steal the chocolates. And the reason I would steal them was because I'm not allowed chocolates, and I would always get a firing for eating them. And one day I think I went too far, and Daddy said, I don't know what's happening. And I would never own up to it, He would always say, One day he said, this has gone too far now. I think I'm going to call all the servants because half a box of chocolate has disappeared from the fridge. And I knew it was me because somehow one day I had about half a box in one go. And I thought, oh God, now I hope. And he said, I'm calling all the servants. And I said, okay, now I have to confess that it was me who's taken the chocolates. But I thought, how would he even know that a box of, half a box of chocolate is just gone in one go? But that's what he was. His attention to detail was the thing. And Xerxes talked about, you slap me once, I'll slap you twice. So I remember this story that one day Mom and Dad were in this race, in this speedboat race. And he had put this really big engine in a very tiny boat. And he was gunning it for dear life. But just before the finish line, the entire boat disintegrated. Mom was in the water, Dad was in the water. And one of their friends came to rescue them. And he came to rescue them and he picked up Mom. And then suddenly he looked at her and he threw her back in the water. Dad was like, why did you do that? He said, Arey, nahi, Byram, you don't understand. I don't touch any married women. Daddy was like, what? He was so mad. He said, Acha, to hu to married woman na thi. Now, can you please just lift me out of the water? Not known to him, Daddy braced himself. As soon as he gave a hand, Daddy yanked him and threw him in the water and said, I hope you realize what it feels like to fall in the water. That's the kind of person he was. But above all, what defined him in my mind was that he was a champion of those who really didn't have anyone in their corner. An example, in my own family, I had a maid of mine who, to put it mildly, created hell and havoc in the family. And no matter what we told her, she didn't care. She didn't care. We could scream, we could shout, because I think, and I always believe, that part of it was because she knew that Daddy was in her corner, and as long as Daddy was there, there was no way anything could happen to her. We had a friend of ours who's a doctor, and he was just talking to us, and he said, Xerxes, I can understand your father calling me if it's, one of your managers, or if it's, but for anyone, even if it's a janitor, your daddy will call me personally. That's how much he cared for everyone, not just, not just his managers or not just his family, even his pets, So when mom and dad used to travel, they said, the dogs, they'll feel so upset if we move them from our bedroom, they'll get a little disturbed. So why don't you all sleep in? He loved his dogs. So Xerxes and I, we said, okay, fine, we'll sleep in your bedroom so that the dogs are happy. And every night at 4 in the morning, they'd come, you had to let them out, and then they'd come back, and then they'd be harassing me, this, that. So I said, Daddy, what is all that about at 4 in the morning? He said, no, Jara, can't you just play with them and pet them a little? I said, at 4 in the morning, no, Daddy, I really, he said, nahi, chalni hai, Jara, thodu, bas ek 5-10 minute rami le. That's how much, he loved everyone. Like, I can't imagine at 4 or 5 in the morning, but that's the person he was. Daddy and I, we've had our power struggles. And our arguments are on the dining table. I will always miss them. But the thing about him was, like Xerxes said, he was across generations. I never felt that in our arguments I had to defer to his wishes or I had to not say something, because it was as if we were arguing as equals, as I'm sure the family members will testify. One of the things that Daddy and I completely disagreed on, and I feel bad about it now, but the fact was that I loved wearing pajamas all the time. And Daddy was like, well, when you get up, you should, change into decent clothes, not just be roaming around in your PJs. And so we had a kind of truce, But the truce was you will never go outside the house. So one day, some Mali or someone had called me, ke bhai ji, ye hai, wo hai. And as usual, I was in my pajamas, and I thought, you know what, Daddy's not going to see this. So nicely, I went out in my pajamas. I did this, that, and the other. Then I came into the house. He came in. Suddenly, he was coming down the stairs. He said, Dilnaz, I said, oh God, he's seen me now. This is it. He said, Dilnaz, by any chance were you outside in your pajamas? And I thought, no, Daddy, you know what? These are the latest flapper pants that people wear. And being the gracious person he was, he knew they weren't flapper pants. I knew they weren't flapper pants. But he said, oh, okay, if they're flapper pants, then I guess that's okay. So, often for Daddy, there's this song, this old Indian song, which says, मैं और मेरी तन्हाइयाँ अक्सर ये बातें किया करते हैं, अगर तुम होते तो ऐसा होता, अगर तुम होते तो वैसा होता. For all of us, it's like that. On so many occasions, on so many moments. If Daddy were here, he would have said this. If Daddy were here, he would have done that. He will always be with us, always be in our memory. He was a wonderful, wonderful human being, a wonderful father, a wonderful grandfather, father-in-law, everything. And like my son said, I know he's in heaven because he said, Dinsha Baba, it's just so beautiful. And that gives me solace. Thank you.
The next message is from Byram Uncle's nieces, the Mamji sisters, Anita, Natasha, Laila, and Firoza. May I request Xerxes Avari to please come up and read their message.
Hello, everyone. This has to be one of the hardest things that we would ever have to do. First, to face the fact that Byram Uncle is no more with us. How? He was larger than life. He was meant to always be with us. It's unfathomable that he is not. Unreal. Suddenly, just like that, he is physically no more. Yes, it's been 6 months, but it is still, even to this day, hard to grasp and come to terms with. And secondly, how do you paraphrase into a short 2 minutes what a man so special has meant to us all for all our lives, and literally so. He has always been an integral part of our lives and will, even in passing, continue to always be so. Now, of course, we all know the big things that Byram Uncle has done for so many, near and far. the philanthropy, the charities, the help, the humor, the wit, the charm, the guidance. Byram D Avari, the iconic businessman, sportsman, friend, and mentor. But he was also an uncle. That too a very special one. From a shoulder to cry on at a lowest moment, like when he lost his sister, our mum, to a small whispering of guidance and solace at the Agyari. From words of advice to heartily acknowledging success we had thought we had through the years. If we ever needed him, he was there. Often he didn't even ask to ask. Often we didn't even need to ask. He just knew. Even one of us nieces has innumerable special memories with Byram Uncle. Way too many even to try to enumerate. But they range from the small, Byram Uncle, can you please explain what condensation is? The night before a 4th grade science exam, where he left his meeting to come out and explain, to being there as a pillar of support for one of us in Islamabad when she needed it the most. From Sundays we look forward to at the yacht club to fun family meals at the ABC Chinese restaurant. From playing Twister together to saying and doing the funniest things to make us laugh, some of which are best remembered in private rather than at this forum. We even remember him playing last FP with his sisters, adults at that time, where they ran after one another trying to tap each other out. This was the fun uncle, the life of the party, the center of the room. Byram Uncle, you weren't supposed to leave us so soon. Among the big things you did that everyone saw, there were also the so many little things that you did that almost went unnoticed, that barely anyone heard you say or do. They were only meant for those that benefited from them. They showed how much you cared and how deeply you loved. You lived a good, full life that sadly came to an abrupt end. You had so much more living to do, but it was your time and we have to accept that. Thank you for loving us and being there for us. We loved you and always will. You have left us big shoes to fill, but just as Granny and Papa had and his children filled them, so will your children after you. Your loss will always be felt and your legacy will live on forever. Loved you and miss you. Thank you for everything you have given us and shared with us. And as the quote goes, those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Thank you.
The next message is from his niece, Roosbe Dadaboy, and I request Zina Avariaga to please come up and read the message.
My uncle taught me some of my life's greatest lessons, by Roosbe. My uncle Byram had a profound impact on my life. Even though I have been abroad and away for all of my adult life, Byram Uncle was a pillar of security that I knew would always be there for me. I have always been in awe of him. My father passing away when I was 17, and ever since then, he took over the role of parenting me, which was an experience of a lifetime. He taught me that you have to be bold, be audacious, and stand up for what you believe. I owe him tremendously for a lot of things, but most importantly, for taking care of my mother, Havovi. Although Havovi was his elder sister, he took care of her throughout her life. For those who know my mother, her favorite question was, "Where is Baba?" multiplied by 100 times. As her life revolved around him, he was her sun, moon, and star. Both brother and sister had a fascinating and magical connection. My mother's last words were Baba, Baba. Through his way of life, he taught me that family is everything. He taught me that family is fundamental and love is our foundation. I miss him very much. I continue to listen to his voicemails that I have saved over the years. His absence has left a huge void, but I truly sense he is still watching over us and taking care of my Goshpi auntie. Thank you.
We honor the life of an extraordinary son who was an embodiment of unwavering affection and love. Respectful and responsible, he valued his father's wisdom, guidance, opinions, and experiences. a son who provided emotional support, showing empathy, compassion, and understanding, was attentive to needs and prioritized his parents' well-being. Byram was a generous son with his time, attention, and affection. Byram was an exceptional son-in-law who always respected Goshbi's parents and treated them with courtesy, love, and acknowledged their role in their family's life. He was considerate of their feelings, needs, and preferences and fulfilled his obligations, honored commitments, and included them in family celebrations and important events. He showed affection, offered emotional support, and nurtured a positive and loving relationship with them. A beloved brother to Havovi and Dinaz, Byram was an embodiment of devotion. His love knew no bounds and he poured it effortlessly into his relationship with his siblings. As a brother, he was a pillar of strength and support. He stood by them, offering a listening ear, a comforting hug, and wise counsel. He had an uncanny ability to understand their deepest fears and provided solace and reassurance during times of hardship. His unwavering support was a testament to the deep bond he shared with them.
Love you. Love you. I love you. I love you.
The next message is from his close, personal, old staff of the Beach Luxury Hotel and Avari Hotels. And this message is going to be read out by Zohaib Jamil.
Good evening. We are privileged today to have the opportunity to pay homage to a dynamic personality who touched our lives in countless ways, whose memory will live on in our hearts forever. Undoubtedly, one of a kind, a great human being, a great son, a husband, father, brother, uncle, a great leader, a great mentor, and a great personality. We were fortunate to have had the opportunity to have known you, to work for you, and to have learned so much from you. You were a man of exemplary insight, a true visionary, an ambitious go-getter, a workaholic, a philanthropist, and a role model for many of us, having an extraordinary sense of humor and motivated most of us. Your leadership was exceptional and inspirational, and your zeal and enthusiasm commendable. Your vigor, your boundless energy, your brilliant ideas and words of wisdom made work so much more enjoyable and worthwhile for all of us. Even in the busiest of the moments, you possessed a fun-loving nature and found time to share a joke or two with us and uplifted us during challenging times, especially when we were having a rough day. You patiently put up with our impulsive working habits despite your busy schedule. We often felt that you would have welcomed a 25th hour to achieve and accomplish it all in your daily agenda. You were an embodiment of relentless perseverance and possessed a remarkable ability to see potential where others saw obstacles. We will always cherish fond memories of your compassion, care and kindness and consideration which you have shown towards all of us. Even during the tough times of deadly COVID, you and your caring family ensured that none of us at Avari Hotels were deprived of our privileges. This was truly a humanitarian aspect which speaks volumes of the Avari family. You genuinely cared for our well-being, both inside and outside the workplace, and helping the less fortunate within the Parsi community and outside was in your bloodstream. You never commanded respect as a chairman, but earned our loyalty as a team leader. Till today, and for a long time to come, it is difficult to come to terms with the inevitable that our Baba is no more and left us after a brief but untimely illness. Your kindness cannot be measured, your intelligence cannot be matched, and your memory will remain etched in our hearts forever. Respectfully addressed as Baba by Hari, Gul, Spenta, Soli, Saeed, Sarwar, Shahrukh Rabadi, myself, and everyone at the corporate office who have been employed in your esteemed organization for the last many years. Avari Hotels is an empire established by you and will remain as an institution of prestige and recognition for centuries to come. Thank you.
The next message is from Rose Ryer, who was Byram Uncle's personal assistant. Thank you. Soli Parak has kindly agreed to read the message out.
Rose says, I was associated with Mr. Avari, Baba, and then Dinsha and Xerxes for over 35 years. Mr. Avari was one of the kindest and most gentle people I have known. Baba was my boss, our family friend, my confidante, and support, and never let us feel alone in a strange country away from home. Actually, she came from Sri Lanka. He was a perfect gentleman, philanthropist, kind-hearted, and always found the time, despite his busy schedule, to meet and listen to everyone's problems, be they rich or poor, young or old, and did his best to help in any way he could. Baba was unique, someone special and irreplaceable, and Goshpi, the children, grandchildren, and all of us will miss him always. May he rest in eternal peace in heaven. Amen.
The next section is messages from all the various Zoroastrian trusts. The first one is from the Jahangir Rajkotwala Bagh Trust. On behalf of the chairman and trustees of the Jahangir Rajkotwala Bagh Trust, we celebrate the life and legacy of our beloved ex-chairman, the late Mr. Byram D Avari, whose dedication and unwavering commitment to philanthropy has touched the hearts of many. As we reflect upon the extraordinary life of our dear Byram, we are reminded of his unparalleled passion for making a difference. His vision was not just limited to financial success, but rather it extended far beyond that. He believed in the power of compassion, empathy, and the ability of a single act of kindness to transform lives. Our chairman was not just a leader, he was a guiding light, a mentor, and a source of inspiration to all those who had the privilege of knowing him. His belief in the inherent goodness of humanity motivated him to run the trust fund, a testament to his deep-rooted desire to bring about positive change and empower those in need. Under his guidance, the trust fund flourished, became a beacon of hope and a catalyst for change. Through the chairman's tireless efforts, countless lives have been uplifted. His legacy will continue to resonate for generations to come. Let us find solace in the knowledge that his spirit will forever guide us. His legacy will continue to inspire us, and his memory will remain etched in our hearts. May we live our lives with the same passion, purpose, and dedication to make a positive impact that he exemplified. Thank you. The next message is from the Managing Committee of the BMS Parsi General Hospital and will be read out by Roshan Mary.
Dear friends, we are all gathered here today to celebrate the life and services of our dear late Mr. Byram D Avari. On behalf of the Managing Committee of the Baman-Shah Minocher Homji Parsi Medical Relief Association and all of its staff, I extend initially our heartfelt condolences on the sad and untimely passing away of our dear Byram. He is sorely missed by all. He was a leader not only of the Parsi community in Pakistan, but also a great business person and athlete of Pakistan. No doubt he has touched the lives of thousands. I would like to speak from my personal experience of matters specific to the BMH Hospital, more commonly known as the Parsi General Hospital. Although Byram held no official post in the hospital, he was neither a trustee nor a member of the hospital's managing committee. He always took a very keen interest in hospital matters and was ever ready to lend a helping hand in resolving the issues faced by it. He would always respond to our phone calls, whatever time of the day or night it would be, whether the call was from any of our committee members or myself. One specific case I would like to mention here. We will always remember and be forever grateful for his assistance and advice in resolving an unfortunate incident of filing of an anti-terrorism case against our managing committee members and our staff. Byram's help was invaluable and so prompt. He immediately assigned a competent lawyer and made sure that all of our folks were granted bail. It took over 2 years and weekly attendance of our team and the lawyer in the courts to resolve the matter. But Byram stood steadfast by our side and continuously gave us hope and encouragement. He even had the legal fees waived to a minimum and himself contributed towards that as well. In good times, everyone is your friend. It's during the tough times that one realizes who are the true, good, and trusted friends. During tough times, folks say that even our own shadows abandon us. However, let me confirm that during the Parsi Hospital's tough times, we always found Byram to be our foremost supporter and trusted friend. It's the donations in spirit of service and of one's invaluable time as given so generously by the late Byram which makes all the difference to an institution. Giving of his time and his service was the hallmark of Byram, which very few people can hope to compare with. The above incident was one of the many incidents in which Byram helped the hospital. May Ahura Mazda grant Byram eternal peace in his heavenly abode and choicest place in heaven. May Ahura Mazda grant all his family members patience and the courage to bear this immense loss. It will be extremely difficult, we understand, but Ahura Mazda will help. May Ahura Mazda also grant his children the sagacity to follow in the footsteps of their illustrious father. Thank you very much.
The next message is from Farokh and Roshan Karani Trust, will be read out by Soli Parak.
On behalf of the committee members of the Farokh and Roshan Karani Trust, we, Aspi Setna, Zarir Doctor, Aspi Mobed, and myself, are here to honor and celebrate the life of our very esteemed community stalwart, the late Mr. Byram D Avari, lovingly known as Baba. Byram's unlimited and unconditional contributions to the Parsi community in various capacities is well known to one and all. Regardless of the backlash that he sometimes had to face, he continued to lend a helping hand wherever needed and never turned anyone down to a larger extent. Dear Byram Uncle's untimely passing over has been a colossal loss to our community. Needless to say, many will feel his void for a long time to come. Our sincere good wishes are with the Avari family. We pray and are confident that his children will carry their father's good work and legacy. In conclusion, the following lines make a befitting tribute to our much revered Byram. In the book of eternal life, a chapter completed, a page turned, a life well lived, a rest well earned. Thank you.
The next message from 8J Berana Fire Temple will be read out by Freddy Sidwa.
Dear friends, good evening. We are all gathered here today to celebrate and reminisce the life of our late Mr. Byram D Avari. On this occasion, we, the trustees of the Hirjibai J. Berana Parsi Fire Temple Trust, would like to express our gratitude to our late Mr. Byram D Avari for all his support and assistance. As you are all aware, there are two Daremers in Karachi, the Wadia Daremer under the auspices of the KPATF and the Hirjibai J. Berana Daremer. With our dwindling local Zoroastrian population and the dearth of Morbaids, both our Daremers face similar problems. However, we are pleased to say that thanks to the cooperation and assistance we received from Byram, the trustees of both Daremers have cooperated and collaborated on several issues, working closely together to serve our local Zoroastrian community as best as we can. Byram's position on many aspects of our religious dogma and customs were very far-sighted, and we are happy to say that under his able leadership and vision, and to the best of our knowledge, the Karachi Parsi Anjuman was the first Anjuman in Southeast Asia to allow Zoroastrian ladies who had not changed their religion when marrying a non-Zoroastrian to retain their faith and even visit our Daremers. We at the 8J Berana Daremer were guided by this, and on a personal note were extremely pleased at this stance. Byram has led the way, and now it is up to us to carry the torch forward. We might add that despite Byram's multifarious activities and responsibilities, be it as an eminent and astute businessman, social worker, community leader, politician, sportsman, or most importantly, a family man, his prime concern always was for the betterment, well-being, and welfare of our Karachi Zoroastrian community. Byram will always be remembered, but his leadership, vision, and guidance will be sorely missed. We, the trustees of the 8J Berana Parsi Fire Temple, along with all present, wish his dear wife Koshpi and his entire family the very best, and hope they find solace in the memories being shared here today, and pray that his children and his grandchildren carry on his legacy. Thank you.
The following message is from Cyrus and Toxi Kawasji of the Kawasji Foundation. We wish to offer our sympathies to Goshpi, Dinsha, Xerxes, Zina, and their families on the untimely passing of Byram, an iconic figure of our community, known to all Pakistanis, whether in positions of importance or otherwise, his involvement in the diplomatic fraternity, a premier hotelier, a sailor of distinction were just a few attributes. Truly, he was a man for all seasons. A highly constructive scheme of Byram's, worthy of mention, was arranging with the Canadian authorities to not only allow families to emigrate to Toronto, but giving full support for 2 years to these individuals through the funds of the KPATF. Today, these families are well settled and doing well. Another wise change from the long stance was to allow the ladies who have married out of our community but still maintaining their religion to welcome them into our agyaris. It is said, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown," a phrase Byram must have felt many a time, but having a fighting spirit, he took it in his stride. Today, as we celebrate Byram's life, one can say he firmly left his footprint. Goshpi and all your children, you have lost a loving husband, father, and grandfather, but we as a community have lost a leader. May the Almighty protect us all. Thank you. Dear everyone, since I was requested to read the message of the Kawasji Foundation by Toxie Auntie, I would personally like to take this opportunity to thank her for introducing me to the real Byram Avari. Prior to that, for me, he was always Beach Luxury and Avari Towers na Byram Uncle. It was Toxie who sent me to him to research on the various articles that she wanted me to write or an interview that she requested me to conduct for either Hamazor or Fezana. It was in those altercations that I came to know the real person behind the hotelier. I was super amazed to hear his progressive thoughts. He knew how to move with the times and fashion everything around him in the same way. I also came to know the fun-loving, naughty, kind, passionate, and considerate soul that we all knew him. Truly, I can somehow feel him around us today, probably standing somewhere and giving me that little chumpty and embarrassing me to bits by saying, "Pauru, aaj ekdam sexy lage cha." Or, "Pauru, tu abhe jari thai gayi chha." I would feel mortified, as Goshpi Auntie would just be 2 steps behind him. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is now going to be the sweetest memory I have of him. I would now like to request Kermin Parak to please come up on behalf of KZBM. Thank you.
Dinsha Byram Avari, the chairperson of the Karachi Parsi Anjuman Trust Fund, members of the KPATF, dear Goshpi, Xerxes, Zina, the Avari family members, beloved Hamdeens, esteemed guest, Sebji. This evening we have gathered to honor and pay homage to our beloved Byram Dinsha Avari, past chairperson of the KPATF. As I stand here to speak on behalf of the KZBM, the Karachi Zartosti Banu Mandal, we vividly remember in 2019-2020 when the KZBM faced some legal issues. We approached Byram, and within a few hours, he arranged for a lawyer, discussed the KZBM matters with the lawyer, and he did not relent, standing steadfast behind the KZBM till the matter got resolved amicably. Byram was instrumental in the healthcare for the Hamdeens and initiated the Anjuman Clinic project in 2015. During COVID, KPATF and KZBM collaborated to look after the COVID patients, which were quite few in number. This collaboration in 2020-21 eased the financial burden of the KPATF. Byram served the community selflessly. He knew it was a thankless job, and so does our dear Dinsha. However, the service to the community has not been a passion, but a commitment for the family. We thank you for it. Byram was much more than just the chairperson of the KPATF. He was a jovial personality with his quirky sense of humor, a gracious host, a kind-hearted, and sometimes a very generous employer, loving husband and father, and a doting grandfather. He is sorely missed by all those who knew him well and whose hearts he has touched in any capacity. Rest in peace, dear Byram. You can meet your Maker with your head held high. Amen. Thank you very much.
The next message is from Dr. Mrs. Delara Mawalwala, Chairman, Mama Parsi School. Dear Chairman and Trustees of the Karachi Parsi Anjuman Trust Fund, on behalf of the Mama Parsi Girls Secondary School, please accept this message from the Chair and members of the school's Managing Committee on the occasion of the memorial to celebrate the life of the late Byram D Avari. From the school's inception, a nominee of the KPATF has been a member of its Managing Committee. Mr. Byram Avari was chairman of the KPATF from 1988 until his untimely demise in 2023. During his tenure as chair, he had nominated Mr. Dhanjisha Gadiali and later Mr. Soli Parak to represent KPATF on the school's managing committee. Both able and dedicated nominees, their keen interest and participation in the school's affairs and the guidance provided to management has been greatly appreciated. Mr. Avari distinguished himself in business as the chairman of the Avari Group of Companies, in community leadership as chair of the KPATF, in politics as minority representative to the National Assembly of Pakistan, representing the needs of minority communities, including the Zoroastrians of Pakistan, and in competitive sport, representing Pakistan in yachting at an international level and winning gold at 2 consecutive Asian Games, for which he was awarded the Pride of Performance Award in 1982. He leaves a legacy worthy of celebration, and the Managing Committee of the Mama School extends best wishes to his wife Goshpi and his family at this memorial to celebrate his life. The next message is from BVS Parsi School. On behalf of the Chairman and Managing Committee of the Bhai Sopariwala Parsi High School, we wish to offer our sympathies to Goshpi, Dinsha, Zaksi, Zina, and their families on the sudden and sad passing away of dear Byram. While Byram was not on the committee of the BVS, he very generously extended the use of the hotel's boardroom at Avari Towers whenever we had our meetings in pre-COVID days. As Andrew Carnegie aptly said, life is not so much a matter of position as of disposition. Byram's disposition to help fellow community members is known by all. I would now like to request Natasha Mawalwala to please come up and read the message out on behalf of the YMZA.
Good evening, everyone. What can I say that hasn't been said already this evening? We have lost a great diplomat, an adroit politician, excellent human being, and a compassionate man. Byram uncle was a man of exemplary principles. No one could get past his eagle eye. He would know in an instant if you needed something. The Avari family's charity knew no bounds, and his doors were always open to anyone and everyone. He most probably must be holding court up there too and formed an Anjuman, knowing Byram uncle. I stand here today in the capacity of president of the ByramDAvari, which is the Young Mazdian Zoroastrian Association. It's been close to 10 years that I've been associated with this organization. The Avari family have been a source of great assistance for all our events, for which we are extremely grateful. In November 2018, the Anjuman came to our assistance as small organizations like ours were facing a problem with registrations, etc. Without any hesitation, the ByramDAvari was integrated with the Anjuman, and today we exist as a trouble-free but individual organization. We would like to thank the Avari family and hope and pray that Byram uncle's soul rises to the highest heavens and his legacy is kept alive by his sons and grandsons. Thank you.
The next message is from Ratanji and Kuarbai Charitable Trust and will be read out by Freddy Sidhwa.
Today we are all gathered here to remember and honor a true stalwart and icon of our community, the late Mr. Byram D Avari. Mr. Avari was a pillar of strength and support to countless individuals, families, and organizations. Byram uncle's sad and untimely passing away has been a colossal loss to our community, and he will be missed by all for a long time to come. Those who had the privilege of knowing Byram uncle can attest to his unwavering commitment to serving others. He was a kind and compassionate soul who knew no boundaries when it came to helping those in need. Whether it was the middle of the day or night, he was always ready to extend a helping hand, treating everyone with the same level of respect and kindness. What truly set Mr. Avari apart was his incredible efficiency and work ethics. He had a remarkable ability to get things done no matter how daunting the task, making the most difficult of tasks seem simple and easy. Byram uncle's unwavering ability to go the extra mile and to make things happen was widely admired. He was always thinking ahead of time and planning for the future, firmly believing that everyone in our community deserved the opportunity to live a fulfilling and rewarding life. This is evident in his extraordinary vision for arranging with the Canadian authorities to help the young members of our Parsi community immigrate to Canada with their families, providing them a chance for a better life. Though his vision to send our youth to Canada was unprecedented and challenging, his persistence, efforts, and sheer determination made it a reality. Mr. Avari's legacy is a powerful reminder of the impact one person can have on the lives of many. His memory will be cherished by all who had the privilege of knowing him. We wish and pray that his children and grandchildren carry on his legacy. May Ahura Mazda grant Byram uncle eternal peace and the entire Avari family patience and courage to bear this irreplaceable loss. Byram uncle, you will be deeply missed but never forgotten. Thank you.
The next message is from the Shernaz and Feroz Bandara Trust, read out by Feroz Kagazji.
The Avari family, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege to be with the Avari family and the Parsi community of Karachi to honor the extraordinary life and remarkable achievements of late Byram Avari at this memorial event. Byram was a true visionary leader whose contributions to the hospitality industry and beyond in general and the Parsi community in particular have left an indelible mark on our hearts and in the world around us. As the saying goes, choose a job you love and you will never have to work for life. This is what we saw in Byram's ever-glowing and wonderful smile, and the passion with which he dealt with various situations, whether in his business or community-related matters. Byram made our community proud when he was appointed as the Honorary Consul for Canada in Karachi, which position he held for over 40 years till his demise. His contribution for our community in this role remains iconic, as he managed in getting the permission from the Canadian government for assisting 50 young individuals or families get immigration to Canada, where all of them are now well settled, besides helping and guiding innumerable members of the community in various visa-related issues. As chair of KPATF, through his vision, guidance, and support, he made innumerable contributions to the Parsi community. Here I will refer to a few of his contributions since our Feroz and Shanaz Bandara Charitable Trust was formed in 2015. These include getting the lease extensions for Gari Khata property, as also the registration of the Jamshed Bagh renewed, which in today's environment is a Herculean task. Similarly, the Parsi Clinic initiative, in collaboration with some of our other trusts, is facilitating the medical needs of our community members. For meeting the religious needs of the community, arrangement was made for 2 Mobeds from Iran, besides getting regular visa renewals for the Nasir Salahs from India. Likewise, he played a pivotal role in the arrangement of an alternate entrance for the Cyrus and Avari colonies, as well as the implementation of a lifter so that the Nasir Salahs, who are now getting old, do not have to carry the body up the Dokma stairs, just to name a few. As we remember Byram Avari today, let us celebrate the values he embodied. His unwavering integrity, passion for excellence, and dedication to community service serves as an enduring example for us all. Byram's legacy reminds us that success is not measured solely by professional achievements, but also by the positive impact we make on the lives of others. Today, we bid farewell to an exceptional leader, mentor, and philanthropist. Byram Avari's vision, entrepreneurship, and commitment to service will forever be etched in our memories. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen.
The next message is from PNYCC and will be read out by Cyrus Kursigara.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I have been asked to say a few words for Byram Uncle on behalf of the PNYCC committee. Byram Avari was truly one of the highly respected and prominent businessmen of our time. His motto always was that we have to give back to the society and our Zoroastrian community of Karachi, and for so many decades, he did just that. Byram Uncle has been the president of the Parsi New Year Celebration Committee since a long, long time. My dad, fondly known as Chum, had served as secretary of the committee also for a long time. I took over from my dad in 2015 on his and Byram Uncle's request to carry on my dad's legacy. As time went by and I started working with Byram Uncle on this committee, I truly started understanding the magnanimous personality of this great individual and would strongly endorse the fact that he truly is one of the great stalwarts of our Parsi community. During my tenure with Byram Uncle, I used to look forward to our committee meetings, even though I sometimes was traveling around 50 kilometers from my workplace to reach beach luxury on time, looking forward to savor the snacks, and then the meeting which Byram Uncle conducted in such a casual and friendly way, absorbing everyone's ideas, suggestions, and then unanimously deciding on the best way forward. Even after we finished discussing all the arrangements, we would at times sit and hear his past experiences and exchange notes on what the Parsi community is going through, and sometimes brainstorm ideas which were always appreciated by him. Byram Uncle always had the well-being of our Parsi community at heart, which used to touch me greatly, and has also been one of the motivating factors for me to at least try my best to help our community in whatever little way I can. We all truly miss him, and God only knows if ever any other individual would be able to even partially fill the void he has left us with. Bless you, Byram Uncle, and may your noble soul rest in peace always. Thank you.
The next message is from the Trust Board of the BMH Parsi General Hospital and will be read out by Nadir Contractor.
Good evening. A stalwart of the Zoroastrian community of Karachi, the late Byram D Avari was a pillar of strength to all those who sought his help and guidance, regardless of their status in the community. He would readily give his time and devote his own resources to solving the issue faced. The Board of Trustees of the Vaman Shah Minochehr Homji Parsi Medical Relief Association greatly acknowledge his help given on numerous occasions in their hour of need. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may his family be given the strength to bear this irreplaceable loss. Thank you.
We honor the life and memory of a truly beloved friend whose presence brought light, joy, and a profound sense of connection into our lives. Today, we celebrate the life of someone who exemplified what it means to be a true friend. His affectionate nature extended beyond his immediate family. He embraced friends and strangers with the same genuine warmth and care. He made it a point to create a sense of belonging, a feeling of being seen and valued in every interaction. His ability to connect on a deeper level with others was a gift that he graciously shared with the world. As we reflect on the qualities that made our Byram so special, it is impossible not to be moved by his unwavering loyalty. He was a steadfast companion, always there to offer a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on, and a comforting presence in times of both joy and sorrow. His loyalty was not just a passing sentiment, but a deep-rooted commitment that extended far beyond mere words. He showed up for his friends time and again, offering unwavering support, love, and encouragement. His infectious laughter was contagious, and it created an atmosphere of joy and camaraderie wherever he went. He reminded his friends not to take life too seriously and to find joy in the simplest of moments. He had a way of putting people at ease, and his humor was a great equalizer. Byram will be missed, but his humor and legacy will endure.
It's you, huh? Byram. Hi, you guys say something?
Look at my stomach sticking out. I'm eating too much.
Fantabulous.
Yes, on the head.
Vanish your blues off.
Absolutely.
Ma, what do you have to say, Ma?
Cheers. This is an evening to remember. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you can film me, please, and say, okay.
Make it.
Okay,
Sabra, make it mine. Make it mine.
We now have a long list of messages from friends across the continents. The first one from Gul and Jamshid Talati, which will be read out by Byram Avari.
Hi everyone. Before I read the message, I want to say I'm really scared I'll get emotional while reading it. So if I do, I'm sorry. But I think it just speaks to the impact he had, and that's a really good thing. I just want to comment on one thing that I noticed so many people were saying that they still feel Papa's presence around us. And like Dinsha mentioned, he's also come to me. Is this better? Okay. He's also come to me in my dreams, and for that, I know he's still here watching over, guiding, and protecting us all. And so I'm forever grateful for that. Thank you, Papa. One last thing. I know that his sons and grandsons will continue his legacy, but so will his daughters and granddaughters. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read the message now. Okay. ByramDAvari represents a unique embodiment of multiple talents and a willingness to help everyone around him, of living in the present and moving an enterprise forward, of espousing the cause of education and assisting those who helped promote that cause, of rising above all others on the international scene and winning the yachting Olympic gold. He astutely used funds to facilitate new opportunities in Canada for many young Parsis. He steered our ship through the vibrant, at times turbulent, politics of our country and achieved the respect of governments and politicians. He was a pragmatist, a philanthropist, an astute manager, a people's man, capable of establishing, running, and expanding enterprises which benefited so many Parsis and others. A Navjot or wedding or anniversary could find no better venue than one of his many hotels. He was magnanimous, flexible, considerate, thoughtful, and could talk to almost anyone for yet people skills. He always found time for whatever task and whomsoever asked, a generous man. Above all, he was a family man. He took the success story of his beloved parents, accelerated it, and was joined in by his equally pioneering wife, Goshpi, and their 3 wonderful children. He will be immortalized through the memories of so many of his friends, and many of who may not have known him personally, but benefited from his generosity. Thank you.
The next message is from Jamshed Duda, and Fiona Aga will read it out.
My name is Jamshid Homi Duda. In 1991, my brother Rustam, aged 26 years, was brutally murdered with a knife through his chest. Imagine the trauma we faced. It became even worse as the police officer in charge was harassing us. We were at a loss and dumbfounded, didn't know what to do. I lamented my ordeal to my Fua Noshirwan Irani. He suggested we go see Byram uncle. No appointments, nothing. We simply went to Beach Luxury and walked into his office. The noble Byram D Avari, may Aura Mazda bless his soul, solved our problem. A weight of countless tons was lifted off my shoulder. A good friend and neighbor was employed as Byram uncle's general manager. He has fond memories of Baba, as he called him. The senior Dinsha uncle was a friend and a supporter of my grandfather, Dhanji Shah Duda. With the altruistic life that he lived, Byram uncle is residing in 7th heaven. With sincere gratitude, I pray for the very best for the Avari family. Thank you.
The next one on stage will be Viraf Daroga.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It is an honor and a privilege to pay tribute to such a noble and special person whom you all knew as Byram, and to his family and friends fondly as Baba. Byram was a friend, a confidant, and a mentor for close to 40 years, and it would be very easy to list all those qualities that made him a stellar person in all his various roles in life. Integrity, philanthropy, loyalty, compassion, and care, and service to his community and country come and go readily to mind. It is very hard to bridge the distance between what I want to say and words adequate to describe a life well lived. As such, I'm borrowing the words of Emerson in an attempt to express my admiration of a life so honorably lived. Quote, "The greatest legacy one can leave behind is to positively impact the lives of others," unquote. His empathy and genuine concern for others touched the lives of many, and his legacy will forever live on the countless lives he has positively influenced. Today, as we bid farewell to our beloved chairman, let us not mourn his loss, but instead let us celebrate his life and the extraordinary impact he had on our community and on each of us. Let us honor his memory by carrying forward the values and principles he held dear: integrity, innovation, and compassion. To the family of our late chairman, we extend our deepest condolences. We understand that this loss is immeasurable, and our hearts go out to you during this difficult time. In closing, I want to end with a quote from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, which is apt for Baba. When Mark Antony delivers a eulogy for Brutus, in which he states, quote, "His life was gentle and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, 'This was a man,'" unquote. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The next message is from Jahangir R. Patel and will be read out by Nadine Avari.
Byram was a childhood friend of my brother, Homi, and I. When we vacationed in Karachi during our school Christmas breaks, a visit to Beach Luxury Hotel was a part of our schedule we always looked forward to. Byram had an air gun and a shooting range where we would aim at a bullseye. The high point, aside from snacking at the hotel, was a ride in a paddle boat. Byram has always been a down-to-earth, unpretentious, generous, and congenial person. He loved and cared for the community, and many of our discussions in later years revolved around that subject. He courageously permitted the entry of children of Parsi women married to non-Parsis into the Anjuman's Agyari and allowed the recitation of funerary prayers in the fire temple for those who opted to be cremated. He did not shy away from a good fight and once mentioned you needed fighters in public office. The Zoroastrian tradition of battling evil was ingrained in him. The community is sadder for his loss, not only in Karachi, but all over the world. Thank you.
The next message is from Farad Godrej Sidhwa and will be read out by Kawasaga.
Byram uncle was a special person to the Sidhwa family. My parents, the late Dina and Godrej Chidwa, had a cordial relationship with the Avari family that went back over 75 years. I personally know the welfare work Dinsha ji and Byram uncle did for our Parsi community and how instrumental it was to the success of our community. I remember the meetings, constant telephone calls, and exchange of notes taking place for the upkeep of fire temple, dakmas, visa issues, for visiting morbids, and continuous problems regarding the Anjuman buildings, etc. Byram uncle was always thoroughly involved in helping each and every single person, despite managing a multinational business. My first personal interaction with Byram uncle started in the 1970s at the Parsi New Year Celebration Committee meetings and follow-up sessions. A distinct event I would remember from my lifetime was on the day of the Mela, on the patio next to the banquet hall. We laid down the game stalls with food and water arrangements. All of a sudden, clouds gathered over the horizon. I was in a panic on how to get all the stalls, especially the table with lots of water glasses, into the banquet hall. I told Byram uncle that it would take a lot of time to move all the stuff indoors into the banquet hall, particularly the table with the water glasses. He just smiled and said, "Pull, don't push." With help, we pulled the table into the banquet hall without a single water glass getting toppled. With this, I learned a lesson of my life, that it is always easier to pull rather than to push. With this, Byram uncle was a mentor and friend, not just for our family, but for our community on whole. May his spirit and good work be followed by his sons, daughter, and grandchildren for all time to come. Yata Jamyad Afrinami. Thank you.
The next message is from Nauroz Kabraji of Toronto. Dear family and friends, the Avari family and the Kabraji family are closely related. I remember Khorshid Aunty, Byram uncle's mother, and all her children always addressing my grandmother as Putla Mami. It is because of this close family relationship that I came to know dear Byram uncle quite well. I remember him often coming and visiting our home in Parsi Colony, sometimes unexpectedly, and announcing that he was going abroad for a trip and had just dropped in to meet us before he left. Sometimes we would not even know that he was already there, as we would find him in the kitchen tasting the food that was being prepared. He had a great sense of humor. Once I remembered Dinsha uncle, Khorshid aunty, and families of Havovi and Dina's aunty were all seated in our living room, and then Byram uncle and Goshpi aunty came and rang the doorbell. Everyone decided to have a little fun and not to open the door for them. Within minutes, he and Goshpi aunty entered our house from the kitchen entrance and startled everyone with a big laugh, saying, "Ha, Byram ne vaste darwajo na kholta." Everyone jumped out of their seats laughing. I have always known him to be the life of the party. Although extremely well connected, he did not have a chip on his shoulder and never displayed any pride. He was always ready to help anyone he could at the tip of a hat, whether rich or poor. He would treat people with respect and never used foul language while dealing with anyone. After my family migrated to Canada, he and Goshpi aunty would always visit us whenever they would come to Toronto, and it was always a pleasure to be in their company. He was always there for us in good times and in difficult times. I remember my 21st birthday party was at the Beach Luxury Hotel swimming pool. When dessert was being served, Mr. Rabadi came to me and announced that we are now bringing out Baba's surprise. And then came a big baked Alaska carried by 2 people. On a sad note, when my father passed away, he and Goshpi aunty were in Toronto. After attending the funeral, Byram uncle came with us into the crematorium, and when the body of my father started to move into the cremation machine, he held my hand firmly and very lovingly. He will be greatly missed by me, my family, and our community. Thank you. The next message is from Hilla Daruwala Tantra and will be read by ByramDAvari.
Byram uncle, Baba as we would normally call him, was a wonderful human being, jovial, kind, and very helpful, who devoted his life in serving his community and country. He was very approachable, and his open-door policy made young and old feel very comfortable in dealing with him. I am very fortunate to have personally interacted with Baba on a few occasions and learned from him some important lessons of life. I will forever be grateful to him for helping me on numerous occasions in dealing with government departments in Karachi. Baba was God sent to my family too, and had helped my father out during a difficult period for him and my family. For the community, Baba was like a shepherd, moving his flock to greener pastures far away from where he stood. And in his own way, he brought countries closer together with his charm and influence, especially Indians and Pakistanis, by helping them visit each other's homeland and making the world a better place. They say you have two deaths. One, when your body stops its bodily functions, and the other, when people stop remembering you in their memories. In the latter, Baba would be immortal for the times to come. Thank you.
The next message will be read out by Dinsha Avari from Sonu Lalwani.
Byram Avari, known to many of us as Baba, what a man. Baba may have left us for his heavenly abode, but lives on in my heart. He was my soulmate, my mentor, my advisor, and as bachelors, my partner in crime, generous to a fault, always ready to help. With him gone, I have been having withdrawal symptoms. He is sorely missed. I met Baba in 1964 when I returned to Karachi from my studies in London. On my first introduction to Baba, we hit it off immediately. There was no looking back. We shared the same sense of humor, and we used to laugh away without a care in the world. As bachelors, we hit the town hard, partying till the wee hours of the morning and landing up at the Demi-Tasse coffee shop in the newly opened Intercontinental Hotel for our omelets before going home. Baba was literally responsible for my entering the business world as an air conditioning contractor. What I am today is all thanks to him. He paved the way for me, introducing me to his friends and colleagues to give me work and taught me the ins and outs of business. Anytime I had an issue, I would run to him, as I knew the advice he would give me would be genuine and sincere, as there was no hidden agenda between us. In the early days, we literally spent every evening together with our small coterie of friends, which I termed the class of 64. What a shame it was, without a care in the world, laughing, joking, drinking, eating, you name it, we did it. We used to go out on double dates with all sorts of girls of different nationalities. One particular date, we were at a dinner with two English girls who kept ordering the most expensive dishes and would be talking to each other 19 to the dozen. They literally ignored us while devouring all the expensive food they kept ordering. At the end of the dinner, and after settling a huge bill, we were walking towards the car, and Baba tells me in Urdu, "Let's teach these girls a lesson and lock them up in the boot of the car." I thought that was a brilliant idea, so we approached the car. Baba opened the boot. We grabbed both the girls and put them in the boot while they were shouting and screaming. They were begging us to let them out, and we did so only after they promised they would behave themselves. Gosh, I can't tell you what a laugh that was. We got our money's worth. Then came the day when Baba left me at the altar. He married the lovely Goshpi. My partner in crime is now gone, leaving me to fend for myself. However, I was so pleasantly surprised that instead of Baba leaving us and just leading his life, he introduced Goshpi to us, who actually became one of the boys. And we continue to enjoy Baba and Goshpi's company with many, many more good fun days. Very few wives would encourage the sort of friendship, but Goshpi, being the sport she is, really kept all of us friends together. I could go on and on for ages about the fun we all had, especially one special incident when we went on an inaugural flight to Rome and then on to Paris. When I think back, it brings back so many memories. There are so many stories that I could write a book. I thought I knew Baba well as we were so close, but what surprised me to no end and actually shocked me was to read all the tributes he received after he was gone. I thought I knew everything about Baba, but wow, I had no idea he had done so much for so many people. I guess that was his trait. Helping others, but never flexing his muscles, never showing off, always humble and treating each one with respect, especially those who came from a less fortunate background. He never thought he was bigger than them, and to his employees, he was a perfect boss. Whenever they needed help, monetary or otherwise, he was always there for them. No wonder they would give their life to him. My only regret is that I wasn't able to spend much time with Goshpi and Baba from 1989 on, as I moved to London and was commuting between London and Dubai. But of course, we always kept in touch and met wherever in the world our paths cross. His hotel in Dubai was my second home, and being the generous Baba he was, I enjoyed his hospitality. To conclude, I have a quote that describes Baba to a T. When the time on this earth is done, money or material things will not matter, but love, time, and kindness we've given others will shine and live on forever. Baba will shine on and live in my heart forever. God bless Sonu.
May I have Sunu Golwala to please come on stage.
Good evening, everyone. I did not know Mr. Byram Avari at a personal level and do not have any anecdotes to share, but I had quietly observed him over the years and was most impressed by his lagni, care and concern for the community, and his leadership. Most of us know all that he did for the community, but what impressed me more was that despite his business and community responsibilities, he was most approachable and made time to look into issues and resolve them. In addition to this, he was a fun-loving, humorous, and a man of the world. A combination of these qualities made him a distinguished member of our community and a natural leader. His depth of human kindness extended to his staff as well. During COVID, he took a loan to pay salaries to his staff and continued to pay them medical allowance as well. His hotels offer more benefits than any other hotel, which has shown up in an academic study by a professor of a business school, a commendable recognition. Mr. Byram Avari's life and work are an inspiration, and it will be wonderful if our young people could emulate some of his qualities and come forward to look into our community's needs and play an active role where they can. Thank you.
Message will be read out by Dinsha Xerxes Avari, and this is from Rustam Turel of Auckland, New Zealand.
I give these words with profound respect and a humble heart to offer my sincerest prayers for Byram Avari. Allow me the privilege to share a few words about this remarkable individual who has left a mark on the Turel family. Byram Avari's dedication and commitment to our Zoroastrian community is unparalleled. In our fortunate interactions with the Avari family, we have witnessed a man whose selflessness knew no bounds. He exemplified the true spirit of service, always extending a helping hand to his fellow Zoroastrians. His immense faith in the power of our prayers was a testament to his profound belief in the divine guidance that accompanies every new endeavor. Before embarking on any venture, he sought solace and strength in our collective prayers. Although he held a position of authority as my boss, he never treated me as a mere employee. Instead, he embraced me as a cherished member of his family. It is with the utmost gratitude that I reflect upon the countless opportunities he bestowed upon not only myself, but also my loved ones. His kindness and generosity will forever be etched in my heart as I continue to remember him in my prayers. As we are gathered here today, let us find solace in the knowledge that his legacy remains steadfast. Both his sons, guided by the same unwavering commitment, carry his torch with the utmost devotion, ensuring the preservation and prosperity of our beloved Zoroastrian community. Sarosh Yazid Panabad.
The next message is from Sam Jamasji. I was only 12 when Baba and I met for the first time. I was new to KGS and thus ideal fodder for the school's bullies, and Baba, although younger than me, soon became my defender. We devised a strategy. Baba would take on our opponents head on, and I would sneakily kick the bullies from behind and then run away when they turned on me, only to return when they turned their attention back to Baba. Thanks to Baba, within a span of one term, life at KGS became not only bearable but also enjoyable. As we grew up, we would increasingly spend weekends at each other's homes. Baba had a wicked sense of humor and a penchant for pranks. While out on a boating trip on China Creek, he convinced me that our boat had sprung a leak just to see the panicked look on my face, because he knew I could not swim. Baba was always young at heart, and he would regale in playing a prank on April Fool's Day and always succeed. At one time, he called early morning to say he wanted to meet Nargish at Adabat Khambata's house to discuss a very serious matter. When Nargish ran across, Adabat greeted her with "April Fool" from Baba. Oh, how we miss his boyish pranks. Call it irony of fate. It was exactly a year ago, July 22nd, 2022, that I met my dearest friend Baba for the last time. Goshpi and Baba were in Toronto and had accepted our invitation for lunch at Delara and Sheriar's house. Baba suggested that we invite no one else. During lunch, while the ladies gossiped, two of us shared jokes and my recent physical weakness. Suddenly, Baba turned slyly and winked at Nargish, and with a twinkle in his eyes, suggested that in order to make Sam feel young again, she should make me give up the walking cane and instead get a support of two 16-year-old dames. When it was time to say goodbye, Baba hugged me for a long time and kept whispering, "Take good care of your family." If only I had the faintest inkling that this would be our last meeting, I would have never let him go. Throughout our lifetime, we remained friends, and Baba, in his own way, continued to look out for me. I remember a time when I found police at my doorstep with an arrest warrant on trumped-up charges by a client of mine who did not want to pay his bill for my photography services. Within the hour, Baba dropped everything to come defend me, just like old times. I think we all know that Byram was always there to take on the world and on behalf of others and stand up for anyone who needed him. Today, I share these childhood stories so you know that his moral compass and desire to fight for justice was strong from a very young age. It would have been easier for him not to stand up for me when I was the new kid, but Byram was always an upstander and never a bystander. I wish for all that if God were to only give one true friend while on this earth, that it may be someone like my beloved Baba. I will cherish our friendship forever. May you rest in peace. Amen. The next message will be read out by Nadine Avari, and it is from Adeshar Jahangir Sidwa.
Hello. Today I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the extraordinary life and legacy of Byram D Avari, a truly remarkable individual whose impact has touched the lives of many, including myself. Byram D Avari, a beacon of light within Karachi, Pakistan, was not only an influential figure, but also a true embodiment of compassion and generosity. His unwavering commitment to philanthropy touched the lives of countless individuals, transforming communities and leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those he helped. Byram Uncle was not only a visionary leader, but also a compassionate soul who believed in the power of education and the transformative effect it could have on an individual's life. I had the privilege of crossing paths with him when I was planning to come to the United States of America, when he generously awarded me a scholarship that has played an integral role in shaping my journey and enabling me to achieve my dreams. It's difficult to express the depth of my gratitude for the profound impact that Byram Uncle had on my life. Through his unwavering support and belief in my potential, he provided me with an opportunity that was beyond my wildest dreams. The scholarship he bestowed upon me was not just a financial aid. It represented a belief in my abilities and an investment in my future. Thanks to the scholarship, I was able to pursue my education and broaden my horizons in ways I never thought was possible. It opened doors to new knowledge, expanded my perspectives, and empowered me to overcome obstacles along the way. Byram's faith in my abilities has been a driving force behind my accomplishments and has given me the confidence to push boundaries and strive for excellence. Beyond the scholarship, Byram D Avari's impact extended beyond his philanthropic endeavors. He was an inspiration to all who knew him, possessing an unwavering commitment to making a positive difference in our society. His kindness, humility, and dedication to helping others served as a guiding light for many, including myself. His legacy of generosity and compassion will forever be imprinted in the hearts and minds of those whose lives he touched. As we celebrate the life of Byram Avari, let us not only remember his philanthropy, but also strive to embody the Zoroastrian principles he held dear. Let us pay forward his kindness by extending our support to those in need, by championing education, and by making a positive impact on our communities. By doing so, we honor his memory and ensure his legacy lives on through our actions. Today, I stand as a testament to the transformative power of Byram Avari's generosity and belief in others. I will forever be grateful for the scholarship that he granted me, and it has not only allowed me to achieve personal success, but has also instilled in me a sense of responsibility to uplift others and make a difference in the world. As we bid farewell to an extraordinary individual, let us cherish the memories, be inspired by his example, and continue to spread his legacy of kindness, empowerment, and love for humanity. Thank you.
Can we now have Rashna Gazzar on stage, please, to say a few words?
Good evening, friends. A little before my wedding in Bombay, we met this handsome couple outside the Parsi Gymkhana. Percy introduced me to Byram and Goshpi Avari for the first time. I still remember Byram uncle telling me that you will bring music and French to Karachi like a breath of fresh air. I just laughed at that time. Little did I know that he, being a music lover and philanthropist, would play such an important role in supporting us. My group of pupils, Harmony in Helping Hands, and I have been ever so grateful to his family and him in not only hosting our fundraising concerts for needy causes in Pakistan, but also in allowing pianists to rehearse at Avari Towers days before the show. We had a lot of fun in 2019 when Byram and Goshpi Avari sponsored a fundraiser themselves for Parsi General Hospital. It was great collaborating and working as a team. He would always joke that I will be singing on stage in your next event. A kind-hearted family friend, philanthropist with a humorous touch was dear Byram uncle. In conclusion, I quote Robert Louis Stevenson, "The man is a success who has lived well, loved much, and laughed often." Thank you.
The next message is from Dr. Mervyn Hussain and will be read out by Byram Avari.
We so miss Byram. I've been thinking of something to say about him, and words don't come easily, because I neither know where to start nor to end. When Byram came into our lives some 40 years ago, he became not just a friend, not just an elder brother, but almost literally a father figure. We were so blessed that for whatever reason, he practically adopted us into a family. For us, Byram was the ultimate dost ka dost. He was generous to a fault, carrying biscuits in his cars to give young beggar children on the streets, or helping the less fortunate through employment or support, without a thought to religion, caste, or creed. Whatever the words he uttered, he exemplified the Zoroastrian creed of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Often, I would try to avoid calling him because he was a near 24/7 workaholic and multitasker. At least his brain was. Yet, there was never a time that if I sheepishly would ask him for advice, information, or permission to embark on some tangent, that he would not respond immediately, or he would always call back within a short time with his extremely thought out and considered suggested solutions, or the terse, "Don't be an arsehole." My suggestion is to do this. It was never forced, and it was always a thought out and practical opinion. He spent his life for causes and friends helping out way beyond the call of duty. Over the years, well and above beyond our common compassion and interests with sailing and the yacht club, Byram remained a confidant, advisor, an extremely close and loving friend. We miss him so much. Rest in peace, Byram. You are the closest to an angel I can think of. Thank you.
Can we please have Dr. Arish Virji on stage, please?
Dear family, friends, and honored guests, today we celebrate the life and legacy of a remarkable individual, a humble, dedicated, and hardworking community head whose presence has left an indelible mark on all of us. As we recall all that ByramDAvari has done for our beloved community, we reflect on the immeasurable impact he has had on the lives of countless people. Throughout his life, he exemplified the true spirit of selflessness, compassion, and unwavering dedication. He understood the power of unity and the strength that lies within a community that works together towards a common goal. He led by example, inspiring others to join hands and build a better future for all. Byram possessed an innate ability to listen attentively and understand the needs of the community and tirelessly work towards finding solutions. His dedication was unmatched. He was a driving force behind positive change and progress, always striving to create a nurturing and inclusive environment. Under his guidance, the community flourished. He was not just a leader, but also a friend and mentor to many. He lent a listening ear to those in need, offering a helping hand to those facing hardships, and providing guidance to those seeking direction. Today we celebrate his life dedicated to building a stronger, more connected community. Let us remember his infectious enthusiasm and ever-smiling demeanor. To his family, I extend my deepest condolences and thank them for allowing us to share in the life of such an incredible individual. His legacy will forever live on in the hearts and minds of those he touched. Thank you.
Zias Aga will now read two messages, one from Chisti and Kawasji Dada Chandji and the second from Hufriz Darais Mawalwala.
I wish I was personally present to express my appreciation of our dear Byram uncle, whom my parents, Dina and Godrej, considered as a true friend and a stalwart of our community. He was a mountain of humanity. Anybody could come to seek help or ask for valuable advice. He will be long remembered as the backbone of our Karachi Parsis a true visionary who understood the very challenges faced by our community. Today has been a celebration for life well lived. His time with us was truly a gift. May Ahura Mazda bless his soul in Gaurathman Base. Please share our thoughts with Goshpi, Dinsha, Xerxes, Zina and their families. What we are today in Canada is because of Byram and his eternal guidance and kindness. He was a kind, noble, caring, giving soul, an unsung hero who is dearly missed by all of us. With Dalu's blessings, from Hufri's Drais Mawalwala, our children and grandchildren with love and bali duas to Byram's entire family.
The following message is from Rusi Temuras Setna, and it is titled Friendship. Byram D Avari, always called Baba by most of us, has been known to me since the 1950s, but our friendship really grew after I joined the yacht club in the mid-70s. That very first year, Baba made me captain of the boats on his sailing committee. After studying well the racing rules, he got me on the protest committee, making sure I would do justice to the job, and by 1978, he pushed me to become the Commodore of the Karachi Yacht Club. While having fun times at the yacht club, Byram took sailing very seriously. He went on to the United Kingdom to learn more about sailing, always making sure that I received a lot of input from him. As a team, he made me accompany him to Sri Lanka to race against India and Sri Lanka in the South Asia Yachting Regatta. With Goshpi as my crew, we were declared international champions in McNarma Rose Bowl. Baba's motto was always never give up, and I remember him proving so in Bangkok when his boat capsized in rough weather, but he managed to get the boat up and won not only the race, but the gold medal as well. In daily life, Baba was a generous host, thoroughly spoiling his friends. His sense of humor was in fact remarkable. But more than that, if I ever had a problem, and I have had quite a few, whenever I took my problem to him, it was no longer my problem. It became his. Bhuli ja, hu joy levas, he would say, setting me at ease. Such unquestionable friendship is to be cherished forever. The next message will be read out by Dinsha Avari, and it is from Nauzar Commissariat.
Dear Goshpi, Dinsha, Xerxes, Zina, family members and friends, I can't believe it has already been 6 months today since the Avari family and the entire Zoroastrian community of Karachi and internationally lost a pillar of strength, a wonderful soul, and I lost a wonderful boss. Although he never made me, or for that matter, any of his employees feel like he was their boss, he would always say, we are all part of one big family. The love and affection I received from the Avari family did not once make me feel as if I were going to the office. My family and I also considered Baba and the Avari family members and part of our family. To me especially, Baba was a mentor and an elder brother. Baba learned to respect everyone, especially his employees, from his illustrious mum and dad, Khurshid Banu and Dinshaji. And in turn, Baba and Goshpi have instilled these wonderful qualities in their children and grandchildren. There's so much more to be talked about the illustrious life that Baba spent in this world during his lifetime, but I will end here with a prayer that made my dear Baba's noble soul progress further in the spirit world, and may God Almighty grant solace to his dear family members. Baba, you are missed dearly and are always here with me in my daily prayers.
Can we now have Pollard M. Pollard on stage, please.
Good evening, everyone. And our dearest beloved community members, friends, and our dearest Goshpi, Dinsha, Xerxes, and Zina and their families and grandchildren. It is an honor for me to say a few words about my dearest school friend. We knew each other 75 years ago when we were about 8 or 9 years old in grammar school, Karachi Grammar School. And I don't want to say what we did as youngsters, as teenagers and all that. Goshpi, you should close your ears. But my dearest friend, Byram Avari, besides being a very good friend, he was the only person in this world who would call me by my nickname given by him called Poli. Otherwise, my nickname to all my other friends was Popo, but he used to call me Poli, and the only person in this world who called me Poli. And I loved it. And every time we would meet, whenever we saw each other at Lagan and Navjots, and particularly at the back where the bar was, we used to always make it a point of having a drink together and talk about old times and the community and friends and everybody. And then whenever dinner was served, we would be, both of us were very fond of fried eggs, and we would rush for the fried eggs, and both of us would enjoy our fried eggs. But I always noticed that he would have his on papetani salis. And then he told, I said, Byram, why do you have this? And he said, you just try it once, Poli, and then you will let me know. And ever since then, I tried it, and ever since then, I always have my fried eggs on papetani sali. Xerxes, you can vouch for that. Where are you? Yeah. Okay. And even I remember once when on the menu the eggs weren't there, he specially ordered it from the kitchen for the two of us, and we had our fried eggs together. It was a tradition that we'd have a drink at the bar, etc., and all that. And then he and myself would both, being very, old friends, we used to sit and gossip, and then we used to go out. It was Lagan and Navjots, which were more or less that we were together at. He would always have his, well, I did say about that, I'm sorry. On one occasion, when there were no eggs, he ordered it. This was our own little friendship niche that we had at the bar. And Goshpi, if you remember, you were a little kid also, because your Masi Diana used to be my dad's secretary for 20 years. So I used to come to your house also sometimes and meet mom and dad and you. As we all know, he was one of the greatest philanthropists, most helpful person I have known for our community in Karachi. What he has done is unparalleled and will be remembered forever. May our Mazda give him a special place in heaven and bless his beloved wife Goshpi, children, grandchildren, and help them to carry on his work, legacies, and traditions always. Amen. May our Mazda bless you all. Thank you.
Byram Avari will now read the message out from Dinsha Bejan Aga.
Who was Mr. Byram D Avari? He was a humanitarian, a father figure to his community, a man with a heart of gold, a man who could, after being there for his community and all those he could help, he still had time for his family and friends. A visionary, a pillar of the business community of our country. He was always there for everyone, no matter when or who needed his help. His void can never be filled, but he still lives on through us all. If we can be even just 50% of the kind of person he was, we will be a greater community. Thank you.
Nadine Avari will now read the message out on behalf of Zaina Noshirwan and Roozbe Noshirwan Mehta.
We knew Byram uncle since we were kids, hanging out with Dinsha, Xerxes, and Zina. Over the years, he was always very jovial and fun to be around, and there was never a dull moment with him and Goshpi auntie. He had a kind, caring, nurturing, and helpful personality. We never heard the word no from his mouth. He would be the first person most people reached out to in times of distress, and he was always there to help everyone, regardless of whether he knew them or not. We knew that if we needed help, Byram uncle would be there for us. He was a true beacon of light for the Parsi community of Karachi, and he genuinely loved the community, which loved him back. I recall my mother talking about how our connection with the Avari family went back to the late Mr. Dinsha B. Avari and our grandfather, the late Dhanjisha Dadha, who were in the same orphanage as kids. Dear Byram uncle, you will be missed by everyone that knew you, and especially by the Parsi community of Karachi. Thank you.
A message has been sent by Sadia Rashid of Hamdard Foundation, and this will be read out by Perin Avari.
To most people, Byram D Avari was a business tycoon, a leading hotelier, a leader of the Parsi community, a representative of the minorities in the National Assembly, a philanthropist, an honorary diplomat, a gold medalist sportsman. To me, he was Byram, my friend. There can be other tycoons and hoteliers and MNAs and diplomats and philanthropists and even sportsmen. But it's not easy or even possible to replace a friend. We had our silly jokes. If he sent a scrumptious cake as a New Year's gift, I complained that with my weight problem, a head of lettuce would be more appropriate. Just a few short weeks before his departure, I got his last friendly note, saying he had remembered to replace the cake with something savory, a dish of vol au vent. For the rest of what remains of my life, I will never eat a vol au vent without croaking a tear for Byram. I condole with his wife, his sons, his daughter, and other extended family members, his colleagues, his admirers, but I feel someone should condole with me. Is it, after all, so small a thing to lose a friend? In my estimation, his high station or achievements, however grand or important, did not define him. He was above all a good man. Thank you.
The next message is from Sabra and Zafar Tapal and will be read out by Fiona Aga.
Dearest Goshpi, Dinsha, Xerxes, and Zina, thank you for the honor of choosing Zafar and me as good friends of Byram's to say a few words about our friendship that goes back 50 years or more. It is next to impossible to say a few words describing dear Byram and our love and admiration for him. When we met, we were all 50 years younger. One of our indelible memories of him was the day Zina was born, and he walked into the then delicatesse at the Intercontinental Hotel, Karachi. It was about 2 in the morning, and he had the broadest grin on his face and announced the arrival of his darling daughter into this world. He has promised us to champagne the day this would happen, and true to his word, he took our whole group to the beach luxury hotel into the discotheque, popped the champagne, and Byram and I danced on the tables with the champagne bottles in our hands. That incident describes Byram in a nutshell, full of fun and laughter, never a dull moment when he is around, true to his word, kind, generous, and always by your side if you needed help in any way. He never accepted any invitation on a Sunday. That was the family time at the yacht club. The song Never on a Sunday was written for him. One of his many passions was sailing. Goshpi and Byram won the gold medal for Pakistan in sailing at the Asian Games many years ago, made headline news. A born hotelier, a legend in the field of hospitality, be it at any office, hotel, or home, a larger-than-life figure who will always be with us in spirit. Dearest Goshpi and Byram, you have invested so much of your love and time in your children that today you are reaping the fruits of what you have sown. You are fortunate to have their unconditional love, and with them by your side the years ahead, without Byram's physical presence, life will be easier. God bless Byram in heaven and guide him through eternity. Ameen. Thank you.
The next message is from Danny and Nilufar Mama of Toronto, Canada. Remember Byram with a smile today. He was not one for tears. Reflect instead on memories of all the happy years. Recall to mind the way he spoke and all the things he said, his strength, his jokes, and the way he laughed. Remember these instead. The good times that he shared with us, his eyes that shone with fun, so much of him that never died, he left for everyone. He had a nature that was caring and giving, and a warm heart of gold. To all those who knew him, his memory will never grow old. Rest in peace, dear Byram. January 22nd, 2023 was a very sad day as the Parsis of Pakistan and community at large said goodbye to a powerful leader and an admirable family man. He was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, uncle, and a dear friend to many around the world. In his own special way, he gained the admiration of everyone around him as he stuck with his ideals without fear or favor. Courage, tenacity, compassion, and loyalty are the words that come to my mind when I think of Byram. It was only after his passing that we heard story after story from people he had helped under tough circumstances with his wise counsel and outreach. Some of these actions were life-changing for many, but which he has never spoken about. The words family man is often spoken loosely, but over the years of knowing the Avaris, we have seen that Goshpi and Byram were true soulmates and incredibly close to their 3 children and grandchildren. It was always heartwarming to hear Byram speak with a twinkle in his eyes about his family and especially his grandchildren's accomplishments as they grew into adulthood. He was their hero, and the bond that this family shares is unique. Byram has been the glue that has molded his family, instilled caring human values in them, which is propelling them through this incredibly sad time. Throughout his life, he has revered the weak and elderly and shown them much respect. Even during his short trips here, he made sure he called on his elderly friends, and we saw this firsthand as he never missed calling or meeting up our mother, Sunnu Mama. Oddly, that same tenderness was evident when he was around his beloved dogs, and there was always an amusing mention of them during a conversation. They must be missing his larger-than-life presence in the house. A huge part of Byram's legacy to young Zoroastrians of Pakistan has been the special program he spearheaded with the federal government of Canada, whereby over 50 qualified families got their immigration process fast-tracked to start their lives in Canada. This program was executed by the Canadian Friends of Zoroastrians, CFZ, a Canadian corporation. A few of us were part of this initiative, and it was only through his vision and contacts with the Canadian government that made this unique program possible and seen this to fruition. This project was dear to his heart and has provided young Zoroastrian families the remarkable opportunity to settle in Canada and prosper. Their children will have been able to get into top Canadian universities and now see a future with endless possibilities. This journey was not easy for Byram. He had to jump through many hoops across the process, and despite his busy life and demands on his time, he personally screened each and every application to ensure that the documentation was impeccable and would be successfully accepted. On a personal level, it was always fun to meet Byram and Goshpi during their trips to Toronto. His sense of humor, life-hearted jokes, and stories kept us entertained, and we looked forward to his visits. Byram left this world way too soon, and we will miss him, but his shining legacy will live on. We send our kind thoughts to Goshpi, Dinsha, Zagsi, Zina, and their dear children, and may their happy memories sustain them. In the end, it is not the years in a life, it's the life in the years. By Abraham Lincoln. Thank you. Parsi Avari to read the message on behalf of Dr. Colin Saldana.
A Canadian tribute to a dear friend by Dr. Colin Saldana. Byram was larger than life in so many ways, a true icon. So much continues to be said about the person he was, his accomplishments and achievements, and rightfully so. He was a beacon of hope and a source of optimism and encouragement for all of us. Baba was ambitious, courageous, and determined from a very young age. He kept his eye on the stars and his feet on the ground. He knew what success was and how to achieve it, not for himself, but for the benefit and comfort of the less fortunate. Life was like a bicycle for Baba. He was continuously pedaling and running that marathon of giving, never stopping. He never allowed success to get to his head and never let failure get to his heart. In our many discussions over the years at our home in Canada, he would always remark about the great role model that his father was and how he made every effort to emulate him. And he did that so well for his own family. His love for Goshpi was deep, sincere, and strong. She was his rock. His family was the center of his life, and his grandchildren, through their many successes, gave him much joy and pride. He was truly a caring family man with a big heart. He extended this caring to his community and his country. He wanted to make sure he gave everyone he came in touch with an opportunity to succeed by employing them in his business and ensuring that they had a better life for themselves and their family. Let me share with you a brief encounter that my wife Sheila and I had with a chambermaid at the Avari Towers in Lahore a few years ago. This chambermaid was cleaning up our room when we engaged in a conversation. She did not know that we knew Baba, and in our conversation, she went on to say that Pakistan was going through difficult times and that Baba ensured that she and the other chambermaids did not lose their jobs and that their salaries would not be cut back. She said that she was the sole breadwinner for her elderly parents and siblings. She was the lifeline to their existence. She stated that had it not been for the generosity, kindness, and thoughtfulness of Baba, she and her family would be destitute. She went on to say that every night she and her family would always say a prayer for him. Let me share with you another example of one of Baba's drivers who met with an accident and whose medical bills were paid for in total by Baba. These are a few examples of the quiet and genuine acts that have become the hallmark of Baba's life. While he rubbed shoulders with the rich, famous, and powerful, he never forgot those in need and those that were wanting. What was very interesting about all his acts of kindness, generosity, and magnanimity was that he never once left you with the impression that he was engaged in all these acts. One would hear of his goodness from others. Since Baba's passing away, I have had so many of my patients originally from Karachi who have nothing but sincere and genuine praise for Baba. Like each one of us, Canada has lost a dear friend and a remarkable citizen who served as Canada's honorary consul in Karachi. He did this with distinction and integrity, and for this service, his good friend, the Honorable Jason Kenney, Minister of Immigration, Multiculturalism, and Citizenship, presented him with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. Byram's last official event in Canada was attending a black tie gala dinner at the prestigious Royal York Hotel in honor of the Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, which I had the pleasure of chairing. I can still picture him entering the hall in a tuxedo with Goshpi on his arm and meeting Prime Minister Brian Mulroney and Premier Doug Ford and then dropping him home after the event. What a special night that was. Little did I know that it would be the last time I would see my good friend.
I will now invite Khurshid Kotwal to please come up and say a few words.
Goshpi Dinsha, Xerxes, Zina, and to the entire Avari family. Thank you for organizing today's event in memory of Byram Uncle. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to come and celebrate Byram Uncle's life and pay tribute to a man who was a true community leader, a philanthropist, a business leader, a politician, a diplomat, the man who took sailing to new heights, and Pakistan's Pride of Performance Award winner. When I think of Byram Uncle, I remember him as someone very passionate about the community service and who spent considerable amount of time handling community matters. He inculcated the same spirit in all of us. Under his leadership, I vividly recollect how he handled the community problems and like a true leader left no stone unturned, whether be it to recover the money that was fraudulently taken away from our community members, the endless pains that he took to resolve family issues, letting them live free at his hotel or even at his home till delicate matters were resolved, solving marriage problems, family immigration issues, etc. He gave unflinching support as he went about touching hearts and changing lives of anyone who was in trouble or who sought his help. He fearlessly resolved issues, not bothering that he was being dragged to court. I remember querying with him, "Is this our role too?" And his face would light up with his famous motto, "We have to give back to our community." Byram Uncle was a quick decision maker and a man on the spot. He was open to discussion and debates, but once we took a decision at the trust meeting, it had to be executed immediately, and often our meetings were lengthy. Little did we know that at our meeting in December 2022, that would be the last one, when he was happily joking and making new ambitious plans for the community. I have to share with you about his pet project of providing medical facilities to the community and the endless time we trustees spent under his guidance figuring out how to run the clinic. He himself got involved into every detail, whether be it with the hospital arrangement, the doctors, or supervising. His generous nature of giving away the money for good social causes rather than hoarding it and then making continuous efforts to find new avenues was something he kept on trying on his own till the very last. I could go on and on about his works, like helping the youth to settle down in Canada, and the many new projects that we discussed. But I end with a parting message. Byram Uncle, you truly created a legacy, and we will surely miss you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Dear friends, there is a wall of pledge right at this end. If you'd like to put in your messages, signatures, please do that while having dinner. Before we end this program, there is a video which I would like to share with you all. This is exactly how Byram Uncle would have wanted us to remember him. And the music that has been chosen is something he would be always teasing his family with. So you all will be able to quickly remember what it was all about. Let's go ahead.
दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी इधर उधर लहराए मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी इधर उधर लहराए मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी घुंघरू बाजे ठनक ठनक चाल हुई मस्तानी
Okay. How many answers? How many answers? How much Shagun would दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी इधर उधर लहराए मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी हवा में उड़ता जाए मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी इधर उधर लहराए मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का मोरा लाल दुपट्टा मलमल का हो जी
ये बताओ कि फारिग वक्त में क्या करते हो? I mean, apart from your work, do you like to play cards? खेलते हो?
नहीं, I don't like cards. I don't like gambling. लेकिन my wife, she loves cards. She loves bridge. She loves rummy. हम बाहर के मुल्क में जाते हैं तो वो जिद करती चलो कसिनो में जाए। मैं $10 रखता हूँ, उसको $100 देता हूँ। मैं बोलता हूँ आधे घंटे में वापस आना है, मिलेंगे। मैं तंग होता हूँ। आधे घंटे में वो आती है, मेरे $10 के 100 हो जाते हैं, उसके $100 के 0 होते हैं। तो फिर से वो बोलते तो मैं उसको $100 देता हूँ, तो 15 मिनट और फिर आती है, बोले चलो घर चल। लेकिन मेरा रिलैक्सेशन ये है कि मैं पार्टियों में जाता हूँ, दोस्तों को मिलता हूँ, हंसी बोली करता हूँ। मेरे वालिद साहब ने सिखाया था कि दफ्तर छोड़ो ना तो जैकेट निकाल देना, तो कपड़े नए पहनना, तो आपका यू फील फ्रेश टू गो आउट। आई लव सेलिंग, माई चिल्ड्रन लव सेलिंग, माई ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन सेल, माई बहू सेल्स, माई वाइफ सेल्स। We do a lot of sailing. We love socializing, love listening to music, and I love reading, but I can only stick to newspapers. इतने अखबार पढ़ने होते हैं कि पागल हो जाते हैं. मगर I love relaxing and enjoying, being with the family, playing with